Is this thing on? Ah, it is indeed. Hello everyone, it's Ponzelot, and I'm here on YouTube, Mr. Overgriff for Pwn TV, playing Ponzelot on Final Fantasy XI. And today, well, today you guys, I just keep looking at my YouTube channel and watching it grow and seeing which way it's kind of spiraling. And I keep noticing, I'll pull it up, I guess, on the screen really quick. I keep noticing this YouTube page. There's a lot of comments on it. Give me a moment and I'll pull it up. As per usual, I'm not really all that prepared for today. But this right here, this guy, this is the guy. And it's almost got 1,000 views, you guys, which I think is quite interesting that it's getting up there. But honestly, I feel like a guide like this could probably get way more than 1,000 views. This guide has information for every job in the game, information that I provided after doing a little bit of research on those things, about 15 years worth of research, I should say, for most of these. But I kind of know what I'm talking about when I talk about all these jobs, and they're pretty good.
Hey,
they're pretty lined up.
let's talk about Puppetmaster.
Like, that's Puppetmaster. I mean, I clicked on Pup, and there's Pup, Summoner.
So let's move on to, like, everybody's most popular job, Summoner.
That's quite loud, but you get the idea. Like, this video is pretty well done, and I have a lot of information in the description for things like updates, and I really didn't edit this video all that much, kind of similar to how I'm not really going to edit this video that I'm making at the moment. But we have a lot of comments here, and I'm trying to like everything and get to everything and answer any questions for any people. And it seems like there's a couple of things going on here. One, the general population watches the video but doesn't leave a like or a dislike. There's 1,000 watches, but like it has 1,000 views, but it only has like a dozen likes or dislikes. That's the first thing I noticed. So I don't really know which way to make my next videos, because people aren't giving me the feedback that I need to kind of build the video to, like, custom tailor it to the audience. Like, what do you guys want to watch? What do you guys want to learn in a YouTube video? That requires a like or a dislike. That requires a comment, and I'm just not getting enough of that, and I'm a little sassy about that. So I just wanted to make a note in this video about that. That's the first thing. Secondly, the comments that I am getting, they're not as constructive as they need to be. They point out flaws in my videos, but they don't actually tell me exactly what to do to describe the situation that actually is flawed. Like, what is it that's flawed? What is it that I didn't mention? What is it that I could have mentioned that I left out? What is it that I mentioned incorrectly? They're just simply saying that these things are all incorrect. Well, what exactly is it that's incorrect? Alright, I need to know these things, or I'm not going to be able to make better videos for you guys. I have people that always mention on this game, oh, you're that guy from YouTube, I love your content. Well, that's good. I like that. I like when you tell me you like my content. I like when you tell me what content you watched that you did like, so I could make more of that for my channel. That really helps my channel grow, and I appreciate that sort of comment. But if you tell me that I was confused about a video, that's also good. I love that. I don't get enough of that. I don't get enough people telling me that this particular video was confusing at this particular part. So it doesn't really help me grow my channel when you leave out all of the stuff you might consider to be negative comments. If you leave that out, that actually hurts my channel too. I can't actually make the channel better if you're keeping all of the negative stuff to yourself. But some people do leave comments with the negative stuff. They just don't tell me what I could do, and that's just one of my bigger gripes, I guess, on my feedback, is that I'm not getting the right feedback. And that's a bit of an issue for channel growth, right? But we are here. We are here on Final Fantasy XI, live on Final Fantasy XI, and I'm in my log house. I'm actually going to the patio just to kind of show it off, I guess. And I'll probably go to the mog garden as well. See, like I just got another comment from another guy on that video, so let's go look at that really quick while this is loading. I'll pull it back up.
Gotcha. Let's like just get that.
Pause the feedback really quick and put it on the stream. Okay, so what are we saying? This is a live comment that I'm getting on this video with someone that's engaging pretty well with me. And he says, in solo weapon skill, accuracy could be some use. For Golden Kist, I just kite and 10k dot helix it to death. Exactly, great. See, that's the kind of feedback that I need for the channel to actually teach people how to play the jobs, because I want everyone to have all the information, and I don't have all of the information. I don't know every single working strategy for every fight. I just have experience with all of them, and that's what I'm trying to, I'm just sharing my experiences with people. So when I get comments like this, that gets added to my experiences, which I get to share with you guys. So that's fantastic. That's what I'm looking for. All right, so that's kind of a working example of what I'm talking about. And it looks like our patio has actually loaded. I do have quite a few items on my patio. I have room for more stuff, believe it or not. There is room for more stuff, but it's getting quite cluttered. I think I've got everything spaced out nicely though. What do you guys think? Like the patio? I think the patio is pretty lit. Pretty lit. Too much stuff going on maybe. But, you know, they give me all the space in the world for this game, so I add it to my mog garden, my mog house, and all that crap. Alright. See, like, the majority of my safe is actually going to be, safe 1 and 2 anyway, is actually going to be furniture that actually gives me my storage, which is something I rarely touch, but it's full as well. I don't want to really get off track, like showing all of my stuff. If you guys want some information on how to manage gear, I could totally make a video for that, leave some comments. But I've managed the gear pretty well, I guess. But this video was really just going to take place as a follow-up on the video about all jobs and how some of the jobs, I guess, were discussed poorly. Maybe we'll change the track. What do you guys think we should play? The Pioneers. Let's play the Pioneers. Yeah. Alright. So we'll play the Pioneers. So let's get into it then, right? So we're following up on a video that has about 1,000 views now, and we're making a new video, and we don't really need to see... Crap. I can't function. Multitask skill. There we go. Boom. We don't need that to be in the way because we're not going anywhere, so there's no reason to show a map of the area if we're not really going anywhere. So what are we doing? We're going to look at the different jobs in the game, and we're going to, I guess, quite briefly go over all of the different jobs. So you can see that I have 99 all jobs. That's an accomplishment. I will admit that is an accomplishment. I didn't just sit there and have somebody power level all these things, dude. I actually worked really hard on almost every one of these. I probably did go AFK on a couple of them first one part, but I did play them all. They all have merits, they all have job points. And so, I mean, I guess if you're an entry-level player and you're trying to figure out what job do I want to play, what job should I play on Final Fantasy XI, well, this is kind of the video for you, I suppose, because I'm going to show you how all of them kind of function, but I'm going to be really brief about it so we don't have a 3-hour long video, right? This video might be a half hour to an hour, just discussing all this stuff. But I will go in order. I will go from left to right all the way down here, and I'll show you all of my level 99s, how I merited them, some of the the equipment pieces that I really like on them, and I'll just try to keep every job to like 5 minutes or less. And this is just going to be a follow-up considering all of the comments and feedback that I got on my previous videos. Again, if you think this video sucks and you dislike this video, it's because you think I suck, and that's your personal opinion, and I'm fine with that. But you're partly to blame for why this video might actually suck, simply because I'm asking for the feedback to add to these videos from my general YouTube viewers. So if you're viewing this video, you're one of my viewers, you need to tell me why things suck so I can actually improve them for you and your friends in the next, you know, the follow-up videos that I put on my stream. So, now that we got that out of the way, just know that you're equally to blame. Audience, let me know what you think of this stuff so I can make it better or worse, right? So in order to change jobs, I believe I can do it from this floor, right? If I go to the Moghouse menu and then change job, but there's actually no Moogle on the patio. But I can still do it, so we'll do it. Boom, blew your mind. Totally changing jobs without a Moogle, right? Okay. Let's go to the first one. So we have Warrior here. Warrior is kind of basic, alright? Now, I'm not a pro at Warrior. I'm not a pro at all the jobs in the game, but I do have a lot of the stuff done for Warrior that I need Warrior for, and for me, in my experience, I only ever use Warrior in Abyssy to proc monsters. So that's the only reason I have a level 99 Warrior. I don't use it for anything else other than Abyssy. So I probably don't have 119 every weapon imaginable on this job, and I have no interest in getting said items. But I can tell you that there's a lot of stuff that I don't have that you would want to get for this job. I will make the same comment I made in my last video when I tell you that if you want to be a career warrior, you get yourself a Chango. You could get any RMEA, but Chango is one of the more popular choices on Final Fantasy XI for Warrior Ultimate Weapon, alright? So I'm gonna say that again, and I'm gonna get it out of the way again, and I'm gonna keep this video on YouTube no matter how many dislikes I get when I tell you you need Chango and you say, bullshit, Posla, you don't know what you're talking about. Nah, bro. I'm not playing Career Warrior until I have Chango. Let's just say that. Let's agree on that, and then we can move forward, alright? So let's move forward on this job. Merits. My merits probably all suck. One thing you do need to know is that I do have 100% of the merit points invested in the merit trees that you're given in this game. That is to say that I can only unmerit things at this point in every single category. I have no way to add points to any category at all for the rest of my career on this game on this particular tune. Alright, yes, I called it a tune again, deal with it. So let's look at the merit tree then, huh? Completed merit tree. So you're coming back to the game and you might not have this done. Know that this is like where you start. Maximum merit points, boom. And then you go HP and MP, alright? Once you're done with that, like, that's full and you can do all the other trees, and you can complete these on however you want to complete these, whichever order you prefer to complete these. That is all you. I would say that you just grind away until they're done. Now this one's maxed at 10. I don't know why I can't fill these up, otherwise I would have already. I guess these two kind of are counterintuitive, but you know what I'm saying, like, you can move the stuff around. So since I play so much Paladin, immediate increase on me is like 5, but I mean, obviously you don't have to have the same tree that I have. I'm just going to kind of show you what I did, so you can kind of go with that. Like, this tree is probably going to be completely different for every player, depending on what you do. I have like a point in everything, except for resolution. I suppose I just decided I didn't need it, simply because I only use resolution on my Rune Fencer, and my Rune Fencer simply happens to have a Lionheart, and since I have the Lionheart, I already have resolution, so get fucking wrecked, merit tree. I don't need resolution, bitches. Alright, so basically that's what it is. Once you get an ultimate weapon with the skill, you have a 5-5 on that, dude, when it's equipped, so you don't need any points on your merit tree. So you minus it out and you put it at 0, and that's the only reason I have a 0 resolution. It's a good weapon skill. You should put a point in it, or some number of points in it, but once you get your ultimate Aeonic, like, it's like you don't even need any points in it, so just fucking whatever, like, that's what I did. So, yes, I still don't have resolution on Warrior, Dark Knight, or Paladin, but that's fine! I don't even fucking care, okay? Like, we've got other stuff we can do with those jobs, right? And my last points are going to be in Last Stand, only because I don't have the gun done yet, and also because Thief does have a lot of marksmanship skill potential, and they just simply don't get an Aeonic gun. So I really like the fact that I can still pew pew on Thief as well, so that's why the extra points are in that one. So that's why I did this that way. So it's just my personal taste. Now, we're going to continue doing the merits, and we are showing the warrior, so let's look at warrior merits. So every warrior main in their mind right now, they're screaming, and they're like, what the fuck is he showing? This is totally the incorrect way to merit warrior. Okay. Teach me in the comment section why and how you merited your warrior and for what purpose. And I will just simply say that for every one of the jobs in this game, you can make tweaks to this merit list at any point. I have literally got like 75, 65, however many fucking points that I have just sitting on my character right now, and I could simply add them to the zeros that are on the screen right in front of me right here if I need to. If I ever need to be like, you know what, I think I need a little bit more defender recast, so I'll just go ahead and tweak this thing really quick. I can easily do that. That is not a problem. But I have it this way for a reason. I have it this way just like I have most of my merits on most of my jobs the way that they are, simply because A, it's the popular choice that I've seen after having talked to so many people that play the job. Yeah, maybe they are not a mythic warrior and they really don't know what they're talking about, but if you're a mythic warrior, then you're probably tweaking your merit list anyway to complement your playstyle as the mythic warrior. You see what I'm saying? So this is always going to be different. It depends on what you're using it for. If you're just using it like I'm using it, then fucking it doesn't really matter, right? Okay, so this is what I did. I was just like, okay, couple points in Berserk. Don't care about Defender. Fuck Defender, right? Alright, low-end content. Berserk is better than Defender in most cases anyway. Warcry helps the party, so it's got to be merited higher than the Berserk, right? Because it helps the party, and you're trying to be a team player in some situations. If you're ever partying in, like, Ambuscade, for example, as Warrior, or whatever, then, yeah, like, Warcry is really good. It also affects trusts, like, boom, okay? So, might as well have it, right? And it might as well be higher than the Berserk or Defender or whatever you chose. Aggressor, I mean, really, accuracy? Like, when do you need accuracy in high-end content? I have other jobs to play most of the high-end content with, so I'm good. I'm just totally good. I don't need Aggressor recast. It's cool. If I ever need Aggressor, then I simply press the button and use Aggressor, and I don't care about the recast. I just don't. The content's probably done by the time it's relevant, so there you go. Double attack rate? Ooh. Obviously you 5 this. I mean, everyone probably 5s this one. It's just a really strong ability to have as a warrior, right? Warrior's Charge, meh, you might as well put a point in it. Like, it has functionality. Like, why keep it at 0 and deprive yourself of that ability when you could simply have that extra functionality on your guy? Like, so 1 point, sure. It's a personal taste thing on this one. Tomahawk, I mean, I feel like the only thing that Warrior is really good at in Ambuscade anyway, because this is why I chose to put Tomahawk on my Warrior in the first place, is simply because they have Tomahawk. The only reason they're good in certain content is because they have certain abilities on them. Tomahawk is one of those certain abilities, and depending on the content that you need, Tomahawk blows people away, so you can 5 this, and it's way better as a 5 out of 5 if you're using it in that content. If you're not using Tomahawks for anything, you could minus this at any time and put your points in something else, but at the moment I have it this way simply because Tomahawk is only good on Warrior. It's only ever a thing on Warrior. So if I switch to Warrior and be like, yeah, I can Tomahawk that for you, I've already got this maxed out, so boom. Like, we've already got it. Savagery, remainder of the points, only simply because what warriors ever used ranged attacks? When does a warrior ever range attack anything? So obviously the remaining points on the savagery in this case, alright? So, that is how I did warrior merits. Okay? And before I go down the rest of the list, I'm actually going to go to the other jobs, and I'll just go to those merits for those jobs in general. So what else can we say about Warrior really quick before we change to a different job on the list? I guess I could say that the ambuscade gear in general for this job can get you by pretty well, and you don't really need any JSEs, especially if you play a lot of jobs and have no room, so the Ambuscade gear is probably your go-to for a lot of this stuff. Valorous is really good if you can get good augments, and you can do so many different paths. So between Valorous, Ambuscade Cape, and Ambuscade gear in general, I think that covers most of the gear you're going to use on this job. Pretty sure. Now, accessories are all jobs. I would simply get all level 99 accessories in this game and call it a day. Like, trust me, just get all level 99 accessories in the game. If any of them are just like leaps and bounds better than another one, you could simply stash the other one or throw it away because it's obviously been upgraded to the new one that you have. Like, a perfect example would be like a mache earring and a mache earring +1, for example. Like, if you have the +1 mache earrings, then you don't need the regular normal quality mache earring. So you clearly just compare the two stats and you're like, okay, this is obviously better, so I don't need the other one, I'll toss it. Couple of other examples I could give is like, if you happen to have like an Adnao earring +1 and a regular Adnao earring, unless you always need to have that second one, the second one is just going to be lower stats than the +1. So in some cases you'll keep it. I wouldn't necessarily throw it away personally, but that's just me. So this isn't the best example, but you get the idea, right? Like another example could be like this is also kind of a terrible one, but let's say, just as an example, it's not actually this item, but it's Ginsen with... It's another item not named Ginsen that has these kinds of stats. Well, you see that the stats on this particular item, which is a good item, you should never throw Ginsen away because of the jobs that can use it. But there are certain abilities on this particular item that are better on other items that have been introduced to the game. Like, for example, the accuracy, attack, and store TP you can find on Yamarang. Well, not the attack, but the accuracy and the store TP. You can find the attack on other items. There's probably another item that has the attack boost that you need. But you can see Yamarang is an upgraded Ginsen for those particular jobs. So in that situation, like, I would never use Ginsen really on those jobs because I have the Yamarang now. But the Ginsen's usable on other jobs, so that's why I still have mine, okay? But there's some kinds of level, depending on what gear it is, you might find some gear like Sparks gear, for example. That's probably my best example of gear that you're gonna definitely retire and throw it away. So like, if you have Sparks gear, you probably throwing that away, and you can just re-get it at any time anyway, so it's not a big deal if you toss it. And they definitely are upgraded as you progress your character and complete more content. You upgrade your Sparks gear into other gear that's level 99 as well. But in general, I would say about 99% of the time, you probably just keep all of the level 99 accessories. Accessories are ammo slot, grip slot, neck slot, earring slot again, ring slot again, and belt. And I guess cape, but mostly just belt, because you have ambuscade capes now. Capes are usually considered accessories, but since now you have ambuscade capes, I would say that there's really nothing better in that slot than an ambuscade cape, so accessories are irrelevant. Like, a perfect example, you guys, like, why would I ever need this cape when I could just put most of those stats on one of my other ambuscade capes? That's one example. This is a great cape. I like this cape. I still have it on my guy for a good reason. Anything I'm showing you here is probably super good because it's actually in my wardrobe and it's not in my storage. Okay, so let's just get that out of the way. I'm trying to give you examples though really quick. Here's an example. Argo Champa Mantle. What does it have going for it? Well, plus 12 on all this crap, right? You can do that on your ambuscade cape. Like plus 10 maybe on all that stuff. Maybe even 20 depending on what the stat is on your ambuscade cape. So like, boom. But this is an all jobs version of that. That's kind of like an ambuscade cape, so that's why I keep it around. For my magic attack weapon skills, for just random jobs that I don't have the ambuscade capes done for yet. You see what I'm saying? So like, this is just one example I could give. Looping cape, boom, store TP and accuracy. I mean, you could put this stuff on an ambuscade cape. But look at all the jobs that are using this one. You see why it's a popular choice. If you don't have those ambuscade capes done, you could just use this. But this is a piece of gear that you would retire. If you had ambuscade capes done for all those jobs that are listed on it, then you would never need this. So that's just another level 99 piece that you would retire at some point. Yeah, and that's about it for Warrior, and I guess for accessories in general. I won't really discuss much more about accessories for the rest of this video because, like I said, you should just get accessories for all the jobs and call it a day. Like, get all of your all jobs accessories, like all the really good ones. Anything that's level 99 that fits in one of those slots I mentioned, you just pick it up and you put it in your wardrobe, and eventually you'll kick it to your storage. But for the most part, it's going to be usable at some point in your career on any of the jobs listed on it, so you might as well just get them all and call it a day, okay? Let's move on to another job and discuss everything that's not an accessory on those jobs so we can save a lot of time on this video, okay? Alright, so monk. Okay. Well, I'm not a main monk, but I have seen some main monks, and it looks like Verithragna is the best weapon for them to get, or God Hands, depending on the popular choices like God Hands or Verithragna. I've seen some Spharoids, which is the relic knuckles, but I usually see Verithragna, and I usually see God Hands as well. And that's about it. I know there's other ones, but I'm sure they're just not that popular. Like, obviously you could go bare knuckles. Like, you just get in there with just your bare fists because you're a monk. So I don't have to have anything in those slots, especially if I want to deal less damage. If you ever need to deal less damage, you could just put up your nukes, dude. You don't even need any weapons. That's just what your job is. Like, that's what you do. So let's look at the merit tree on this job. Kind of show you really quick how I merited it, and maybe give you a reason for why I merited it this way. Okay, so all the recast stuff, I really don't like recast abilities, because if I ever have to use the ability twice, then the content's probably too hard for the job I brought anyway, just in general. So, like, I feel like maybe just knock this stuff off and not worry about it. I do think the counter rate and the kick attack rates are really, really good, so I like to have them at 5s, and I think a lot of people share this opinion on this job. I haven't had anybody, like, tell me that this is a terrible way to merit the monk. But I haven't seen too many main monks either. Mantra is a really good ability, you guys. It should not be 0. You do not want to have a 0 on this slot, period. I don't care what you put, as long as it's not 0, alright? Same with Formula Strikes. Same with every one of these. I think every one of these has to have a point in it. And then how you distribute the remaining 6 points is all you. I did it Invigorate because at the time I was soloing a lot. As a really gimp, like not even item level yet, a really gimp monk, before item level was even a thing, is when I had Invigorate at 5. And so, yeah, that's kind of my reasoning for it. I really thought that the regen on the Chakra would, like, save me, but now with all of the 119 gear, I'm thinking you don't need a 5 out of 5 Invigorate. I don't know what to change this to. I would probably do, like, a Penance or a Mantra, if it were me. It just really depends on taste. I don't think it really matters that much that it's at 5, but whatever. That's okay. I do like Mantra a whole lot, though. Especially considering all of your DPS has really low HP, typically, because all the slots that they would put their HP plus gear on are actually being used for accuracy or attack gear, or multi-hit gear or something like that. So giving them an HP buff is really helping you win the content. So I do think Mantra needs to be merited. Definitely above 1. If you have the extra points, you should just put them here. Matter of fact, I'm probably just going to swap this over here. But I won't do that in this video. I'll play around with it and then figure it out later for sure how I want to do it. But this is the way I did it before item level was a thing. And I think this is a pretty good way to do it in general, with that one change maybe. And what else can we talk about? Let's talk about the armor for this job, since I showed you the merits. We already said the Knuckles, Verithragna probably be the one to get. Well, we already said we weren't going to discuss accessories because, like I mentioned, you want to get all of them, and then you could use things like Sherida or Illibrad on all those jobs. But what about the 5/5? I mean, if you don't have the Ambuscade Cape done, you've got some all jobs choices basically that you could do. Probably Lupin, something not a terrible choice. It could be worse, but any of these capes, Moonbeam, Argo Champa, Lupin. Those are pretty good if you don't have the Ambuscade capes done, right? So I'll probably not discuss too much about Ambuscade capes unless I have them for the job, and then I'll make comments about them. But if you were to get one for this job, I'd probably go double attack on it. I'd probably get one with double attack on it, if it were me. Herculean gear is really strong on this job. Like, I'm sure all the JSEs are good too, but I have very limited inventory space to add so many JSEs to my tune. So I do have a lot of JSEs that I'm just not using, that I won't really discuss. But this is one of those jobs that I think Herculean can get it done, honestly. If not, Ambuscade gear is going to be really strong on this job. All the Ambuscade gear that can be used. You could, if you're scrubbing out, you could use Teon, depending on the Augs that you do. Obviously, this is a fast cast piece and not really a piece of gear for like melee attacks or anything. But you do have the option to use that kind of gear, I suppose. But I would say like the high-end monk is going to want the Herculean pieces. I think that is going to be the bread and the butter for this job. There's just so many ways you can augment Herculean, and it makes it so much better than almost everything, with the exception of probably only the +3 JSE gears that are coming out. Like, that's probably the only thing that's better than 99% of the Herculean Augs I've ever seen in my life, basically. But I think that's about it for this job. That covers about everything. What you would want to get. Herculean, JSEs, Ambuscade. That would get you there. JSEs is always a plus. Always go for JSEs. It's always going to help you. And I believe we can go to another job. I think we talked about everything on this one so far that I want to mention. Let's go to White Mage. Alright, so White Mage. Well, one thing you need to know is if you don't know what gear swap is, then you probably don't play White Mage, because White Mage requires a gear swap, almost just simply requires it. And yes, gear swap is something you would use on a window or program, which is technically not something that you should be using when you play this game. But if you're trying to play a White Mage for your party, you need to actually have a working knowledge of all the equip sets that are used on White Mage in order to stay alive. Right? Well, using a gear swap Lua will actually put all of the equipment on at the times that it's necessary to put them on, which gives you that much extra time in between casting spells to know what spell to cast next on what player. And it's thundering outside suddenly. Okay, great. Well, this recording is going to be a little bit shit then, but let's continue, okay? So yes, gear swap is a thing, and yes, I think the one job that needs it the most is the White Mage in the party. Why do you think people bot on White Mage? Why do you think people use trusts as in their party that happen to be White Mage? Why do you think Aparuru and Yoran Orin are the most popular trust choices in the game? Simply because they heal people, dude, and they fucking are bots, so they do shit immediately, right? Well, why do they do shit immediately? Because they're scripted to do shit immediately. It's all automated, right? So why would you feel bad about doing the same exact thing? Am I advocating that you should use gear swap on White Mage? You bet your ass I am, because you should. You fucking should. If you don't, well, you can still play the job. I'm not saying you can't play the job. I'm just saying you get a major leverage in your favor if you use a gear swap program for your gear management on your White Mage in particular. Alright, there is a lot of gear for White Mage that you can use. Some of the choices are very random, like this Fanatic's Glove, perfect example. Like, I got this from Sinister Rain, and I might use it on something. It's probably really good on something, depending on what stats it has. Curse No plus 15, so if I'm ever casting a Curse No spell, this is the glove that I would put on. Like, that's just simply what I would equip. So all of these niche pieces for White Mage are just gonna help you with some spell at some point, and there's just so many random ones that you have to get, like Herald's Gators for movement speed, Chironics with all these different paths that you could do for the job, and I'm losing power. I'm losing power, you guys, so I'm probably going to get disconnected. Yeah, it's R0ing. RIP. Alright, well, I can't talk too much more, I guess, in this video because I'm going to get R0'd. But the idea here for the White Mage, anyway, is that all of the gear choices that they make are custom tailored to the content that they're trying to do. And we might actually... Yeah, we're probably going to disconnect. I lost internet. It looks like it's coming back up, though. My power just came back on. So I'll actually keep recording since I can record while I'm offline. And we'll do that. But it is going to kick us all the way out and we'll have to log back in. So bear with me while I fix this problem. Alright, so I am Red Bar. I believe my internet is coming back up though. It has not come all the way back up yet. I can continue talking about White Mage though. I don't actually need the interface in front of me to tell you too much more about White Mage. As far as it goes, other than all of the random pieces of gear that you get from like Sinister Rain content, which I would highly recommend you do a lot of if you want to play this job, it's best to play with a lot of the Sinister Rain pieces because there's so many good ones for the job in particular. It's just one of the random things about this game. So you want to do a lot of SR. You probably want to do a lot of BC&M content and some Unity content to get things like your +1 slacks that give you your refresh +2 effect. that would be another one to get, and that is a Unity Concord Slack as well, which is good on a lot of different jobs. And it looks like my internet just came back up, so I'm going to try to reconnect. That thunder is really kicking our ass right now. Definitely kicking our ass right now. As far as ambuscade gear goes, guys, for White Mage, I think it's less important on White Mage, honestly. There are some pieces that have fast cast that are really good. Some niche pieces that have fast cast that are ambuscade pieces. The body that has like fast cast 13 or whatever is really strong. And fast cast is very important on the job, but most of your cure potency plus stuff is on your JSE, and it's on these random pieces of gear from these random battlefield contents that you run into, that there's just too many to actually list in one video unless I made the video exclusively about White Mage, which obviously I'm not going to do. Alright, so that just is a little bit more information about the job, about what you can get done in that job. And once I get the game pulled back up, I'm actually going to move on to I guess I'll show you my merit tree for White Mage first, and then I'll move on to Black Mage after that. As far as ultimate weapons for White Mage, I really think that that's a job that you could probably get by with just a Queller Rod, which is just this Esha content, I think, or Rizunjima, I forget. But a Queller Rod would probably get you there. For White Mage, I don't really think you need... you could get a Yagrush if you want to spend 300 million gil and get a mythic for the job. You get the Yagrush. That is the best, in my opinion, and I guess a lot of a popular opinion, is that the White Mage with the Yagrush is probably the one item that the White Mage really wants to get to be like top tier White Mage. The Yagrush is just really broken for what it can do. It has a very interesting ability in which it can basically like hit everybody in the group with certain spells that are normally single target. So you can spam a lot of AoVs with that club, and it's the only weapon of its kind that can kind of do that whole entire trick. So a lot of people pick that up if they want to be the main White Mage. I had a friend that just came back to the game, and he just picked up a Yagrush. He's just like, obviously we need a good White Mage. That nobody in our entire link shell has a Yagrush, so I'll get the Yagrush, and I'll be the good White Mage, and I'm going to be the only person who ever heard of the program for a Winter called Gear Swap. So obviously I'm the White Mage to play, right? Like that's what the guy was telling me. He's just like, I know what I'm doing. I have a good Gear Swap lure for White Mage. I have a mythic for White Mage. I'm going to just play White Mage to everything and just use Gear Swap to play the job for me, basically, but I'm going to do this, and, like, I'm going to be the god-tier White Mage because I have this fucking script and all this crap. And, it's one of those things that people frown upon, but if you're a pro at this game, you use it. You just use it. You fucking use it. You know you do. Don't sit here and tell me you don't know what Gear Swap is. You're crazy. You're absolutely crazy if you don't know what Gear Swap is, okay? There's so many different ways to play this game. And yeah, you don't need to use them, but everybody does. Everybody does use them. It's just it's written to make the game convenient. Just like the way that the game is being geared at the moment, it's just getting more and more convenient to play this game. And that's the reason. It's because no one would play it if it was an inconvenience. So it's a convenient game. So people are writing these luas that make the game more convenient. Period. Like, that's just what's happening, you guys. Looks like we are back online for the time being. For the time being. And I said when I got back online, I was actually going to check the merits. So we'll do that. Boom. Merits. For White Mage. This is what I went with. As you can see, I didn't really do the recast. That's kind of my typical thing. I don't really merit recast stuff. Cure cast time is relevant. For a White Mage, bar spell effect is relevant. I feel like that's the way to go on this job. If you want regen effect, play fucking Scholar or something, dude. Like, what are you doing? Banish effect? Who cares? Who cares? Like, when is this ever relevant? How many undeads need, like, a banish effect with the merit 5/5 banish? Like, you could get that kind of effect with your fucking gear anyway. So, like, yeah. I feel like this is the way to go on the group 1. On the group 2, I feel like everything needs a point. Everything needs a point. It's just there's no reason not to put a point in something. What would be the point of that? Okay? And then your additional points are probably in your Protectora and your Shelra spells. I think Shelra is more important than Protectora. I just simply think that most fights are lost because of magic AoE damage, and not because, or magic single target damage, and not because of physical damage in most cases. So I feel like Shelter is more important than Protectra. This is the same reason I suspect that all of your bots that are white mages cast the Shelra buff before they cast the Protect buff. Why would they do that? Think about that. Why would they cast the Shell buff before the Protect buff if they didn't think Shell was better than Protect? So I'm on that same wavelength. I got you, Square Enix. I got you. I know what you're thinking. I'm in your head. Alright? Boom. Think about that. Next time you summon a trust, notice that shit. Fucking scary, man. Fucking scary, dude. Illuminati shit. And then another point in devotion, because why not? Why not? I don't know. You could probably tweak this different ways, but this is probably roughly 1, 2, 3, 4. Seems good. I like it. I'm happy with it. Alright? And I could be here all day talking about more gear sets for White Mage, but we already talked about the bigger ones. We talked about the Yagrush, the Queller Rod, some of the gear choices that you would get. Notice that there's a lot of gear that you need to get for this job, and it could be a huge video in and of itself, so I'm going to have to stop talking about it and go on to another job. But before I do that, I need to actually change the track again, don't I? Let's go with Distant Worlds. Maybe. YOLO? One of these actually has lyrics, and it's annoying to talk over them, so I'll probably change it if that's the one that pops up, and I think this is it, but I'm not 100% sure. Anyway, we'll figure it out when the time comes. Let's go ahead and switch to Black Mage. Oh, we can't, because we're subbing Black Mage. Why are we subbing Black Mage? Because Warp, obviously. I don't want to use my Warp Ring. I really think this is the one with the lyrics, isn't it? Alright, let's start with the merit points. Merit points. Black Mage merit points. Looks like 1 on everything is okay. I do think that maxing something is better than maxing nothing at all, but you can't max multiple things without sacrificing on one of the categories. You can max 2 things and get no potency on any of the other stuff, or you can do something like this where you just do a point in everything and then just like figure out which one you think you're going to use the most and max that. So honestly, like in the metagame right now, darkness seems to be more popular than light in most of the contents that you bring a black mage for, or you're doing something like a rune fencer tank and they're actually trying to rake damage for fire potency up, and so you're going to want fire magic potency up, and so in that situation you're going to want to merit this 5/5. This is good for ambuscade. If you're fighting any sort of Malboro monster, you would want fire magic potency at 5. But if it's not a Malboro monster and it's not like a skeleton type monster or a member of the undead type, then you probably can get away with ice magic potency 5 or lightning or something like that. So it depends on the content. I would say that you're going to change this list a lot depending on the content that you're trying to do on your job. And if it's an ambuscade type content that you're spamming, you're going to definitely want to invest in the correct potency 5 out of 5 that you need for that content. So whatever your burst is for that content, that's what you would actually max in that situation. So it's going to change. And as you can see, the group 2, kind of the same as the group 1. It's a point in everything and then I max out on something. So you would call me a lightning mage. I suppose I would be a lightning mage because I have 5/5 most of my lightning stuff. I do think this is quite loud. That's probably okay. Alright, so that's how I merited this guy. Obviously it's going to change depending on the content, like I said. What can you get for gear for this guy? Well, most people get a Lathy. Lathy's probably what you want to get. You probably also want to get type A, but if you're a main black mage, you're probably going to have an RMEA done, or you're going to have 2 Lathys. Your second Lathy is probably going to be a magic accuracy one instead of a magic attack bonus. Something like that. I mean, that's probably what you would do. If you had the inventory for a second Lathy, you would get the magic attack and you would get the magic accuracy and call it a day. Or you'd get some RME to go with it and then just kind of tweak the grip with whatever you need. Like, in this case, I do magic accuracy since my Lathy doesn't have it, so that's why I do it this way, and I have it. I like the stats on this in general, so that's kind of why I do it that way. Most of the other accessories are kind of typical depending on the content. You know, damage taken if you're idling. You know, you get the idea. Like, there's a lot of different stuff. I would say that this Barcarolle earring is worth getting, but remember that you can only get one of the quested earrings of this type. So either a Barcarolle, or you can get the Summoner one, or you can get like the melee one, or whatever other ones there are out there. But I got the Barcarolle. I think the Barcarolle is the most popular choice. This one or the Summoner choice from that quest line are probably the 2 best earrings to get, and you can't get them both. So you pick the job that you think you're going to play with more, and in my case, it's going to be this one. And I have the Nirvana for Summoner. It's not finished, but I am working on a Nirvana for Summoner. I do have the level 75 Nirvana staff, so that makes me a Mythic Summoner in progress, and I still can't fix. I can't get that earring for Summoner. So my point is that I still think that the Barcarolle earring is better than the Summoner earring equivalent for that quest line, even though I have a Mythic Summoner done. And I have no, well, not done, but in progress. And I have none of this stuff. Black Mage Scholar and Geo, they're not Mythic. But I still picked Barcarolle earring. So why? Because that's how I felt this was really, really strong. This is just a really strong piece. So just something I want to make a note of. You can go to bgwiki.com. That's a bg-wiki.com, and you can actually look up Barcarolle earring for yourself. Use their search engine and find it and figure out how to quest it. Look at that quest. It's a pretty fun quest to do. Quite fun. I had a lot of fun doing that quest. I'd totally do it again. And the end result was a really good level 99 accessory. Now, non-accessories for Black Mage. There's quite a few. Sinister Rain has the Witching Robe, so you can get the Witching Robe. You also get Ambuscade, Jockey robe for a refresh tick as well. It has one more than the Witching does, but you know, the looks are kind of a thing, I guess. I don't know, it just depends on what you want to do, right? This is a Vagary headpiece, Befouled Crown. I think it's pretty strong. Amalric gear is good. You want to get some Amalric gear for this job, probably. Or Merlinic. Merlinic's probably better in every way than Amalric, most cases, other than the this particular piece, because it has Magic Burst damage tier 2 on it, and I think that's really strong for the job. Malkeith from Ambuscade, obviously, really good. Unity Concord pieces. So there's a lot of the same content that you could do and share. All these jobs are going to have this as kind of the best in slot, depending on the gear set that you're trying to come up with, right? If you need some fast cast, I mean, Amalric is really strong for the fast cast. 10% on this thing, that's really nice. Black Mage really does need a lot of fast cast, so some of the pieces I really thought were clutch. This is another one. Jive for curing and for fast cast, but you also have Lingo Pants with fast cast and refresh tick. You also have Telchin, which you could augment with fast cast, but I didn't. I augmented mine with enhancing for red mage. All right, but there's just a lot of different pieces you can get that have fast cast on them, and you need to know about them. So definitely look up. The best way I can tell you how to find the right pieces of gear for the sets that you're trying to make is you go to the BG Wiki and you pick any of the 16 slots that you see in front of you, whether it be weapon, headpiece, neck, or hands, whatever. You go ahead and you look at all of the items of that type of gear, like all of the feet in the game, and then you sort it by level, descending, so you can see the level 99 stuff at the top. It'll say level 99, and then it'll have item level whatever it is next to it, and then you can actually do a control F, and you can type in like the phrase fastcast, and then basically you find all of the pieces of gear with that stat on it. So like that is how I build most of my sets, honestly. I'll go to every single category, belt, back, body, all these things, and I'll just look up, fastcast, or I'll go like double attack, whatever it is I'm trying to do, and I'll just do a control F and try to find it that way. I think that's a really handy way to find the gear sets that you need for the job that you're trying to get your guy at that point. And there's a lot of them. Like Incanter's Torque is something you could get. It's crazy, crazy good. Combatant's Torque is crazy good for every job. HP plus 60 on this neck is really strong. This is really good for magic bursting. Like just get it all, guys. Do the homework. Figure out what all the gear sets are. There's so many pieces of gear you could talk about. In general, I think that you want to get as much as possible done for this job. That includes JSEs for Black Mage. But in general, I think you could probably get by with just your Jockey gear from Ambuscade, plus or minus a few Sinister Rain or Vagary pieces, and you could probably get by as a Black Mage in most content, especially if you're Mastered, because that's really what they're looking for, a 119 Mastered Black Mage with a Lathy. Like, that's what most people are looking for. Alright, and I think that's all the stuff I need to talk about for this job. I could talk about spells and such too, but we could make another video for stuff like that. I really just want to talk about gear investment, all the quests that you're going to want to think about getting out of the way when you put your gear together for the jobs that you're trying to play at 119 or higher. Okay? It looks like the the track stopped. I mean, it ended really quick and then it stopped. That's interesting. I'm missing so much music. That pisses me off. That's lame. Right. So let's go to another job. Let's go to Red Mage, I believe is the next one. Boom. So here we go. 119 Red Mage. If you watched my previous video, you know that I have a pretty lit Red Mage. I'm actually working on the Almace right now for this guy. I'm not quite there yet, but I'm working on the Almace for this guy. For gear choices, I have a lot of the +3s done for Omen. I have 3 of them, in fact. I think it's the hands. Yeah, the hands. So I'm missing the legs and the feet. +3. Now, I did that during the campaign. I rushed it because I knew how strong it was in comparison to all of the other gear that Omen came up with the jobs that I thought that I would like to play. All of the ones that had like the sickest Omen +3 pieces, I thought Red Mage was the way to go. So during the campaign, I busted out all the Red Mage stuff. I just kept rushing Omen. I used all my points as much as possible, and I got all 3 of these pieces done during the campaign. And I was really psyched about that, you guys. It was an extremely intelligent decision in getting this 3 out of 5 done during the one campaign. And like, they do campaigns often enough. You could just get all of your gear done for whatever job you want to put. You just need to make a list of the jobs that you want to work on if you're doing all of them. The jobs that you want to work on during certain campaigns, and then you make the list, and then you put the gear together during those campaigns, and you're good to go. Otherwise, you'll be here all day. You'll be here all day trying to complete these +3 stuffs. All right? But when you're getting like 10 drops per run, it's a completely different story. You see what I'm saying? So, in general, I think the 2 best pieces from Omen, after having looked at the whole set, are these, only because I think magic accuracy is the strongest thing you could put on your Red Mage. Like, in general, if you had a list of items that you would rank, like a list of different stats that the Red Mage brings to the table in a party, magic accuracy is going to be number 1. Like, there's nothing better than magic accuracy for this job. I think a lot of Red Mages will agree with me when they say it's all about magic accuracy and enfeebling magic skill. And that's basically what I work on. So my Red Mage is basically gearing towards being the strongest, most magically accurate, most enfeebling magic skill oriented Red Mage in the world. Like, that's the goal. That's the end goal. That's the reason I'm working on my Almace, so I could actually play the job outside of magic accuracy, and the reason why I'm working on my Merglace for my magic accuracy set. Do you see what I'm saying? How awesome would it be to be Merglace, Almace, dual wield, magic accuracy set, go. Or Merglace and then best shield in the game. Done. Like, just Merglace and Rapi shield. I mean, get on my level. I would have so much magic accuracy, you guys. So much fucking everything. Everything is just gonna be nuts. It's gonna be absolutely nuts. It's already nuts. This Red Mage is already nuts. I've already had a professional Red Mage tell me that I'm the best Red Mage he's ever seen other than himself. Like, and I just showed him a couple of pieces of gear that I've been working on. I'm not even done with everything, you guys. I still have a way to go. I still have a way to go. Every time I look at my Red Mage, I'm like, I can make that better. I can make that better. And then I show it to people, and they're like, "Damn, how'd you get all that shit?" And I'm like, "Nah, it's not even done yet. It's not even done. I can make it better, dude. I can make it better. I can do better than this, dude." So it's scary. It's fucking scary. It's fucking scary. There's a lot of pieces of gear that you can get for this job. There's so many good accessories. Like, this is an easy one to get. If you pick up an Omen group, you can grab this. No one wants it, but it's super good on this job, and it's the only job that can use it. So definitely pick up that accessory. There's a lot of other accessories from Omen you could get. A lot of other stuff that you should get for the job. JSEs will get you there. If you don't have JSEs, Ambuscade will get you there. I think Ambuscade pieces will be solid choices for Red Mage in general. So you could get by with just that kind of stuff. Ambuscade capes are super good on this job. I think that just having the blanket vanilla stats right there are really strong, and then you can augment them with all this other shit. You can notice that I actually didn't go magic accuracy plus 30. I went mind plus 30. Now, why do you think I did that, you guys? Why do you think I gave myself 10 more mind and not 10 more magic accuracy? Why could that be? Maybe that's because I have a fuck ton of magic accuracy already, bitches! Maybe that's what it is! Maybe that's why I did it! So maybe you probably want magic accuracy 30 on your cape, but if you get to that level, you guys, you could probably benefit more from the extra 10 mind. Think about it. You can use this as a weapon skill. Why do you think this weapon skill damage 10 on it? Because magic accuracy stat doesn't need this other stat that's on this thing, dude. Nah, you're good. Like, the ambuscade cape in general, these 4 stats, like, you're probably never going to see this on another ambuscade cape in your life, and you're probably going to call me an idiot for doing it, but it's 1 inventory space. And what does it do? Savage Blade. Any magic spell I fucking want, that's already doing more shit than yours is. You see what I'm saying? And it's 1 inventory space. Boom. Done. Fucking done, dude. Sanguine Blade. Magic damage 20. Get on my level, dude. It's fucking done. Fucking done. And I don't need any more fucking capes, man. And I could get more, but inventory is precious, guys. Inventory is fucking precious, alright? But I might get some more capes. I might tweak some stuff. I might get an Embolgist Needle and make some tweaks to the cape and do some fucking meta choices. But in general, I think a lot of people look up to my Red Mage gear set. So I want to point out why my cape is the way it is, so you're just not like totally confused. Okay, it's definitely inventory being full. That is the #1 issue here. All right. But we could be here all day talking about Red Mage gear, and I would have way too much fun doing it. So let's move on a little bit, please, before I just go crazy and have to change my underwear. Okay? But anyway, our merit tree for Red Mage is quite simple. I mean, a point in everything seems to get us there. If you put a point in just about everything you can. I really didn't think water magic accuracy was that important when I sized it up to convert recast being at 5, but I will say that a lot of red mages that I've seen on YouTube have actually said they've showed their merits and they don't have any points in convert. They're just like all in these. And yeah, I did make the argument in previous jobs that recast is one of those things that I just don't put any points in. I did say that, but you have to understand one thing, and that is Red Mage is like the single best job at taking fights to time. They take fights to the time limit. Like, that's what they do. They grind out the fight as long as possible. So recasts become more and more relevant with this kind of a job if this is your playstyle, and with Red Mage it's built in natively with the fact that they have convert in the first place. They're basically saying, you know what, this is how the fight's gonna go. It's gonna go fucking forever, but you're gonna get there. Like, that's what's gonna happen, alright? So that's why I did it this way. That's the one reason I did it this way. If you don't think that you need convert on recast 5 of 5 merits, then that's fine. Don't put those points in that. But I like it, guys. I really fucking like it. I think it's really strong. Really strong on this job. Okay? And that was level 75 cap I was doing that shit. And it has not changed. And then for the group 2, it's, like I said, a point in everything. A little bit more emphasis on Phalanx and Blind 2. Only because I feel like after having watched other videos on Red Mage, they said Phalanx 1 was better than Phalanx 2. Well, your Phalanx 2 is not 5 out of 5. It's 1 out of 1. I saw it. So you're kind of wrong on that, okay? But I like Phalanx 4 out of 5. I do. I think that's really strong. I do think Phalanx 2 is used way more than Phalanx 1 by everyone, including AI, including all of your Red Mage bots. Basically, everyone uses Phalanx 2, not Phalanx 1. That's interesting that this guy was like all Phalanx 1. Like, that was the bandwagon that he was putting people on. But I think Phalanx 2 is really strong. The fact that you could put it on other players and not have to use stratagems to do that is really, really convenient, guys. Like, you could sub whatever you want and give Phalanx to people. Why the fuck would you not want to do that, okay? So, Phalanx 4 out of 5. Really, really strong Phalanx. Boom. Got him. Got him. Got him. Everybody gets Phalanx. Not just your tanks. All the squishy thieves in your party that are about to get one shot, now they have Phalanx too. Don't even worry about it. It's totally cool. It's totally cool. Everybody's got Phalanx. All good. All good. Alright? Now, why the extra point in Blind? Well, Blind 2 is a spell that you get access to when you merit it. Obviously, you don't want to not have it because recast is a thing when every second counts in some content, like Maju, for example. And Blind 1 and Blind 2 are both really strong, but this one, having an extra point in it, makes it a little bit more accurate because it has the extra point. So it is a little bit better than other people's blinds that would come along and try to blind. Like, if another guy's trying to blind Maju and they're getting resisted, and you try to blind Maju and you're getting resisted, chances are you're less likely to get resisted because you have the extra point here in your merits. That's why I did it this way. After having considered it very carefully, I feel like this is the best way for me to play Red Mage. It might be different for other people, but I like this the best. I do. So let's move on to another job. We already mentioned Murglace is the one weapon that you would get other than All Mace for this job. Sequence is a good Aeonic to get. If you have time to get Sequence, you could get it. But I feel like if you're working on other jobs, you might as well get those Aeonics first and then get Sequence when you get it. So eventually you'll get that sword, and that is a pretty bitchin' sword on Red Mage. But I do think a lot of people get by just fine with a plethora of colladas. Like, where are my colladas? Yeah, colladas. Any number of colladas with random stats, whatever you want. Magic attack, damage, refresh, magic accuracy, magic attack bonus, physical accuracy, physical attack, you know, all these things. Multiple hit, if you can get like any sort of multi-attack sword, it might actually be good. Damage 20 I have yet to get, but I want to get one. I just haven't been working on it so much. I think my best collada is this one. And this is not even a Dark Matter aug, this is just a regular augment that I did where I was basically trying to get Mind at 15 because I thought that it would be better than Magic Accuracy 30, and I got this, and this is really close to both Mind 15 and Magic Accuracy 30, plus it has a refresh tick, you guys. Like, that's better than I thought I would get. So it's multi-purpose. It's my more popular collada out of all the other ones. So yeah, Red Mage can get by with a lot of colladas. They actually can use knives pretty well. Blurred Knife +1 is not to be overlooked. It's really strong. Odium is decent. Fettering Blade, not bad, not bad. But you could do better with your colladas, definitely. In addition, your RMAs that I mentioned, those would be the ones that you would go for. Mine are not all done, which is why you don't see them here. You could use a staff too. I think Griot Avalar is the more popular staff that Red Mage gets. But if you have really good shields and daggers or swords, then you probably don't care about staves that much. You probably just care about your two swords or your shield and sword. And in this case, I think the best three shields are the ones you see here in front of you. That would be the Amarapi shield, the Genmei shield, and the Soar shield. Those are the three best shields for most of your mages in this game, and those are the three best shields that I carry around all the time for my Red Mage. The shields that are not equipable are best for the jobs that can use them, obviously. But the shields that are equipable by Red Mage are listed here, and they are, in fact, the best shields for Red Mage, simply put. Okay. Now, there's probably a Unity Concord shield that you can get that would be really good with this job, and you could probably get an Oboro sword as well for this job. Those are not terrible choices. I'm trying to remember the name of the Oboro sword. Egiking, Egg King, or something like that. But in general, what I have is, I think the direction I'm going is like nothing more as far as gear, as opposed to what I already have for this job, which is mostly Ambuscade stuff and JSEs, and you know, hit or miss on the Chironics. Like, you definitely need Chironics, you definitely need Carmen Crucis +1, but the Chironic is really important in this slot, particularly because it has the Immunobreak +1. That's very important for this job. Very important that you get a Chironic. So I have quite a few Chironics that all have different kind of augments on them. Even one with Treasure Hunter. I randomly picked that up with a Dark Matter aug. And we could be here all day talking about more stuff. I don't want to make the video all about Red Mage, so I'm going to have to move on. That's been way longer than 5 minutes talking about Red Mage. So let's go ahead and change jobs to the next job on the list. It's going to be Thief. Now, I'll show you the merits first, before we get too much into the job itself. Here we go. So you can see I kind of stayed true with the recast thing, other than the sneak attack. In this case, I feel like sneak attack is really strong. I feel like sneak attack being on recast 5 out of 5 merits is particularly strong because in the event that you or a teammate bullied, you're more likely to have sneak attack up than someone who doesn't have sneak attack recast augmented 5 out of 5, which means that during that bully window duration, if it's a poorly timed bully, you could still sneak attack from the front because your sneak attack's going to be up before everyone else's because you actually merited it. So that's why I did it like this. The flee recast and the hide recast has never been relevant, so I would probably say never put 5 out of 5 on those unless all you do on Thief is flee. If all you do is switch to Thief in town and flee to get quests done, then just put flee recast 5 out of 5 temporarily. But if you actually play the job Thief outside of town, you don't need flee recast. You just don't fucking need it. You have daggers that actually give you flee, so you could just tag something and get flee, so you don't need flee recast, okay?
Triple attack rate is important. You probably want to keep this at 5. It's more important than trick attack at all. So even though trick attack is really strong with the JSCs that you can get, triple attack still really, really strong. So you might as well keep it 5 out of 5. There's no reason not to. And then for these, I do like 1 point and everything, but I learned that I didn't need ambush at all on this job because it's just simply giving me accuracy. I made this decision before I was item level thief, and I made this decision obviously before I was master item level thief, okay? And I'm still sticking to it now. Being a master item level thief, being a non-master item level thief, being a fresh 99 thief with no item level, I feel like ambush is shit at all stages of the game. It's just simply shit. Why do I need ranged attacks at all on thief in most cases? A. B. Why do I need accuracy bonus at all on thief? Like, I have sneak attack, I have trick attack. Are you fucking kidding me? I'm a DPS. I'm worth my salt as a DPS, okay? I have the gear choices that I need to play the DPS. The thief DPS. Like, why the fuck would I need any accuracy from this particular merit? When you size the dicks, you guys, it's basically a useless merit. Ambush is shit. It's just fucking shit, you guys. So I'm just going with these 3. So I split all of my points up. I always have considered ambush to be a joke, and I just all these. Aura Steel's pretty cool. Feint is really strong. Assassin's Charge is relevant. So there you go. And that's exactly how I feel, which exactly explains why I have the least amount of points here and the most amount of points here, I guess. Alright, so that's how I merited Thief, and it has changed a lot. So yours will probably look different. And that's not going to be wrong. You're not wrong if you merit your guy differently from anyone else. You merit based on how you play, like I said. And I'll just keep reiterating that so you guys know, like, there's no bad way to merit your guy. Like, you can change it at any time. It's always going to be good. It depends on what you want. Alright. So, that's merits. Let's talk about RMEAs really quick. So your weapons. Let's talk about weapons for Thief. I don't want to talk too much about accessories because we could be here way longer than we need to be. Just note that all the accessories are good. Okay? When it comes to daggers, you have a lot of choices. Your end game goal dagger is going to be one of a few different daggers. One of which is a Twashtar, another which is a Vajra, and another of which is an Aeneas. That is your mythic dagger, your Empyrean dagger, your mythic dagger, and your Aeonic dagger in that order. Twashtar, Empyrean, Vajra is a mythic, and Aeneas is an Aeonic weapon. Okay? All 3 of those are good on Thief. Manda is your relic dagger. It is also equally good on Thief. It is a very interesting dagger considering it has a weapon skill that's based on strength, whereas everything else is based on other stats, so you needed to make note of that and make a strength set if you're using Manda. That's just a side note, okay? But it's a good weapon skill. They're all really good weapon skills, okay? They're all really good daggers. All 4 of those are really good dagger choices. If you are an avid thief, then you probably want to collect all 4. But it is my opinion that the best daggers for Thief that you can get are going to be the Aeneas in the main hand and the Twashtar in the offhand. If you have the extra 300 mil, you could probably make the argument that you could sub the Twashtar out for the Vajra that you finished with your 300 million gil, and have an Aeneas main hand and a Vajra offhand, or vice versa, but probably not. And call yourself better than you were with just the Twashtar on the offhand. So money does talk in this situation, but I think any of those combinations are highly viable for DPS, and you will probably shit on the parse every single time if that's your Thief. Now, I already shit on the parse as a Thief, and I don't have any RMEAs on Thief. I have a lot of other gear for Thief, but I'm missing all of my ultimate weapons on Thief. But what do I have for weapons on Thief? The single best non-ultimate weapon that you can get for Thief is a Taming Sari from Sinister Reign. Like, period. It's the single best dagger you can get for Thief that is non-ultimate. And I have a perfect one. I have another one that's non-perfect that I could offhand, but I choose not to. If I got 2 perfect ones, I might actually consider offhanding the second one, just for looks. But the Shijo in the offhand, I think, is the best offhand that's non-ultimate. Shijo's really strong. You can go different types, different paths when you augment it to have it do different things. And in my case, I go with the popular choice, which is the dual wield and the triple attack and the dex. Alright, that's just what I go with in the offhand. I think it's pretty strong. Definitely something worth getting. Not that hard to get either. Neither one of these are really hard to get. So you could basically play this job, get these things on day 1 and call it a day. Accessories I said I would probably not go over. And then you can see the rest of the gear choices I'm making are pretty much just ambuscade. Like you could, I mean, I have all 15 pieces of the JSE for this job. This is the only job that I have every single JSE for. They're all 119, okay? But I don't use pretty much any of them because I feel like, in general, the ambuscade gear is just stronger for what it can do in most cases. Now, I would probably switch, depending on what I'm trying to do, I would probably switch through... If I had to guess, I probably switch through about 200 pieces of gear for Thief. Maybe 150. But definitely more than 100 pieces of gear on Thief. I switch through as I play the job, depending on what I'm trying to do. What exactly is it that I'm trying to do? I switch the gear for that to kind of optimize that decision, that choice, that play that I made. So yeah, there's a lot of pieces of gear on Thief. We could be here a long time talking about them. Okay? But the ones that are, I think, the most popular, the most important, are going to be the ambuscade. And, you know, obviously JSE. Just like most of the jobs. The other piece that you get from your Esha or Rizenjima zones that would be really popular choice on Thief is your Herculean, just like on Monk. So you could basically get the same kind of stuff you would get that for your Monk, and you could use it on your Thief in some cases, depending on, you know, like this one's got quad attack on it. Like my Monk wears it, my Thief wears it. All these jobs that can wear this Herculean piece wear this Herculean piece, and it's really strong. Like, okay, so you could go with a couple of different Herculean sets, smartly augmented, and you could have yourself a Thief with a lot of really good gear choices, just a really strong Thief in general. I do think that the capes are really important on this job. I think this is a really strong DPS pick, so it needs to have some really strong ambuscade capes as well. So I do have more than one for this job. I have this one here for actually meleeing and getting up to 1,000 or more TP. And that is basically going to be an accuracy attack cape with crit hit rate, parrying rate, and dex. Why parrying? Because I don't need damage taken minus. I already have other pieces of gear that do that. I have so many pieces of damage taken minus gear, in fact, that I feel like it would be a wasted opportunity to put it on this cape. Okay? So I don't have enough parrying rate plus, and I find myself pulling hate whenever the fuck I want to on Thief, because I have Accomplice, so I might as well have a parrying rate. And that's why I chose to do this. I think it's a really strong cape for meleeing, especially if you're pulling hate. Plus, I have Enmity plus 5 merited on my everything, because my merit chart has Enmity 5 out of 5 on it. So in general, with no gear, I still have more Enmity than you. So, and I have all these gear choices that also have Enmity on them. So I might as well have the parrying rate to actually compensate for the fact that I'm getting hit in the mouth. Alright, the other one that I have is going to be my weapon skill damage cape. And it's going to have the Dex 30 on it. That's for your Ruger's Storm, basically. But I would use it for most weapon skills. And that's it for capes, I feel like. I mean, I could make more, I'm sure. But I feel like that's good enough. And I feel like we've talked enough about this job to kind of give you a basic understanding of how you would play it. One more thing I'd like to mention is that in Ambuscade, there are some content where Thief is still strong, but the monsters cycle their damage weakness over the duration of the fight, depending on certain circumstances. And so in some cases, you're going to want to have blunt damage, piercing damage, or slashing damage, but not one over the other. In some cases, you don't hit them with piercing damage, but you have to hit them with slashing damage. Well, then in this case, as a Thief, you just fucking mainhand the Temagayu plus 1, or one of 4 different swords that are 119 and extremely high on DPS. This is one of 4 different choices you could make that are really, really strong swords that Thief can equip. 119. Really strong. Okay? 4 different choices. This is one of them. This is the one I went with. I don't remember exactly all 4 of them, but I remember there being 4 really strong ones, and this is one of the top ones. And I can use it in Ambuscade to have slashing damage, if I need slashing damage, over piercing. And the other is blunt, and I would use a club for that. There is a club for that. I don't think I actually keep it on me, but I do have it, and I'll show you the club. This is the club that you're going to want to get for blunt damage if you're using any job other than like White Mage to DPS with blunt damage, or Monk, or Puppetmaster. Then you would use like for Thief. This is your only option, and I'll find it. Mayfit Cudgel. There you go. This is an all jobs club 119. It's a basic bitch club, but it gets the job done. And I feel like since it's all jobs, you might as well grab this. You might as well grab it and use it. There is another club from Sinister Reign that you could get, which I don't know if Thief can equip. I think, well, there's Divinity. Thief can't equip this, though. So if it's Thief, in this case, it's going to be the other one. But if you have one of those 4 jobs, you could use this one instead. And that's, I think, a little bit more DPS for clubs than the Mayfit Cudgel. But you have a lot of different options. But just know that you do have options. Just know that you actually do have these particular combat skills as the Thief. You have a hand-to-hand, you have a sword, you have a dagger. You have a club skill. You've got all these as the Thief. So you have all the damage types that you need. Thief is a utility job before it's a DPS. It's a utility job first and a DPS second. It always has been. People are going to argue that I'm wrong, but get bent. You're fucking wrong. Thief has always been utility. Always been utility. Why the fuck do you think they have Accomplice in the first place? Or Sneak Attack? Like, they are a utility class. They basically specialize in utility gameplay in a party situation. That's what they do. If you need the enmity to go to another player, we can do that. We can put it there. We can take it from you with Accomplice, and we could trick attack it onto somebody. Like, it's just like Dragoon. It's a fucking utility pick. So don't argue with that. Definitely utility first, DPS second. DPS second. If you want DPS primary, no utility at all, you play a fucking warrior, dude, and call it a day. Thief's got utility. It's very important that you remember that. So there's a lot of gear choices you could make, a lot of playstyles that you could implement with this job that most people just don't even think about. But I'm a master thief. I know a thing or two. Take my word for it. There's a lot of ways to play this job. So many ways. We could make our own video about Thief. Leave a comment if that's what you want. Let's move on, though. For now, let's move on to the next job, which is Paladin. And let's show you the merits for Paladin really quick. Now, I'm not a Master Paladin, but I'm close to Master. And I think that this is the way that I like it the most. Very interesting. I've made tweaks to this over the years. But basically, this is what I've come up with for my in-game Paladin. And I feel like this is a pretty strong way to play the Paladin. Pretty fair. It kind of fairly distributes all of the different utility that Paladin has at its disposal. And like Shield Bash Recast is relevant on this job. You want to Shield Bash as much as possible when you have an Aegis in your hand. Like, it feels like the thing to do is Shield Bash. So you could 5 this if you want. I just didn't really know if I wanted to go 5 because then I couldn't go 3s on these. So that's what I came up with. And I like this. I think it's a comfortable, fair way to actually merit Group 1. And then for Group 2, a point in everything seems pretty relevant. But, you know, this one, the spell interruption's not relevant once you actually have all of your gear choices made. Once you have your fast cast set done, like, you don't need spell interruption. That's part of your set. That's part of your mid cast set. If you have a fast cast set and a mid cast set and an after cast set, which I do, then you would realize that your mid cast set has spell interruption rate on it. Like, why the fuck do you need to use Rampart to increase your spell interruption rate when your gear choices are already doing that? You can already reach basically 100 with gear choices. Like, so why does it fucking matter that you would ever waste a point? And this would be stupid. You just don't merit Iron Will. So that's why it's at 0. That's why it's at 0. I think it's a fair way to do it. These other 3 are pretty fair, so I went 4-3-3 split like I did in the first group, with a little bit more emphasis on the fealty over the other 2. And I think it's pretty fair. Chivalry, I think, could go down a point, honestly, because it's not used as much. I am a Taru, so I really never need mana, like, ever. I rarely use Chivalry, so I could probably bounce this down to, like, 1 point, maybe. But 3 is a fair Chivalry. Like, if I'm in the situation where it's like, oh shit, the monster just aspered all my MP, or oh, and I don't have any other tech, which I can name like 5 different ways to get MP on this guy in that situation alone. But let's just say I have none of those other ways at my disposal. The only choice that I have is Chivalry. The only thing I can do is Chivalry. If that's the case, then I use this chivalry. At least it's not a shit chivalry. At least it's pretty decent at 3 points out of 5. Like, that's decent, okay? So that's my argument with why I have it at 3. I feel like the only better choice is to put it at 0 and max out something else. But I just like the oh shit button at my disposal, and you never know. You never know. What if the monster you're fighting is got like in Asper or something as an in spell, and so like every time they hit you, they take all of your mana. Like, what if they hit you with like some sort of virus where now you never have any mana? And what if you really need to help somebody with a Cure 4? You could Chivalry, then Cure 4 before your mana gets drained. Done. And there's some fights in Ambuscade that do this, where they just keep draining your mana. And that is your only trick, is Chivalry. Or like, you know, some weapon skill that gives you mana back, which there are some. Or medicine. I said there was like 5 other ways you can get mana, but we won't talk about those. But Chivalry's not bad. It's not bad. I think that this is the way that you should merit Paladin. In most cases, this is something close to what you're going to come up with as you play this job. For gear? Oh, there's a lot of gear. I actually do have some RMEA for this job. So, the Burtgang is the mythic sword for Paladin. It is the one sword that you end the game with if you're playing an end-game Paladin and you want to be done building stuff for Paladin. This is your last thing to grab, pretty much. And this guy is, he's pretty badass. If you don't have him, you could go with a Colada. You could go with, oh, this is another really spicy pick. Great sword, Beryllium sword +1. Or a Khalid Bog, which I am working on. Really spicy to have great sword on Paladin. Especially if you want to show up those DPS that keep wiping. They're like dead, weakened status, watching you just go to town with a greatsword as a Paladin. It's great. It's the greatest feeling ever. And you can't die because you're a Paladin. So you can swing this all day. And if it's like, oh shit button, you just fucking change back to your sword and shield and call it a day. And you don't care anymore. So it's just brilliant. It's fucking brilliant. But the sword that I used before I got Burtgang was actually Brilliance, which is a Sinister raindrop. So do some SR, get yourself a Brilliance, and that is probably your best sword until you get Burtgang. Probably going to be the best pick. Some people will get the Empyrean done, and the Relic done for this job. The Relic being more important for Paladin specifically, Excalibur. It's a pretty solid sword for a tank. Okay. It's obviously nowhere near as good as Burtgang in every situation I could think of, but it's there as an option, a cheap option. It's an alternative that will get you on your way, and it's ultimate weapon, so it has the extra sword skill boost that all the ultimate weapons have. So it's just really strong. Good option that you can get. Almace, I think, is also the Empyrean sword that you can equip as Paladin as well. So you could consider getting that. It's going to be really sick, dual wielding Burtgang and Almace, honestly. I'm going to have a lot of fun doing that. If Almace is equipable, I think it is equipable by Paladin, I'm pretty sure. I think it's Paladin, Blue Mage, and Red Mage. Just like the Colada. I'm pretty sure. But anyway, so that's it for ultimate weapons and weapons in general. SR, good. You can get a... if you can't get the SR, you can get a Nixer from Esha. There's one of the Esha zones. I think it's Zeta, or it might be Ruan. I don't remember. But there's a Nixer, Nixxer, and it's a pretty solid pick. It's easy to get as well. So you can do that. For gear choices, honestly, everything you try to get, everything that you want to get for this job is going to be some way, shape, or form Sovereign gear. Like, that's going to be your starting point. Your starting point is going to be 5 out of 5 Sovereign set. And then you're eventually going to realize that the body, the Sovereign body, is completely useless when you size it up to the Reverence Surcoat +3 because of the HP pool that this item gets. This item says plus 2, 6, but 2, 5, 4, 254. I don't know why I said 264. I got confused. Anyway. 254 HP on this item is huge. You want to know what else has a lot of HP? This item right here. Moonbeam Cape. 250 HP. Tacked onto your guy. That's huge. Fucking huge. But this body is another Moonbeam Cape on your body slot. There's nothing else in the game that comes close to this for HP, other than Reverence Surcoat +2. Okay? So my point being... they're not making any other body slots with HP on them because they have the Reverence gear with HP on it. in the body slot. So this is the point. This is why if you're making an HP set for Paladin, which you should, you get Sovereign 4 out of 5 and you get Reverence Body. That's exactly why I have it done that way. And as you can see, I do have the Sovereign 4 out of 5 HQ. And the paths that I chose they have changed. They will change over time depending on what your accessories look like, to kind of get you to the 50% physical minus and breath minus and magic minus that you need for the damage taken sets, the various damage taken sets that you have access to. So my type might not be exactly the same as yours, but I tweaked it because it put me near the 50% that I needed to be at for all the different damage types. That's the only reason that I have the types that I do on these paths. Okay? And as opposed, additional sets that you would use on Paladin other than tank sets would be some sort of DPS set. Maybe you're trying to grind the monster down while everyone's weakened. Maybe you're soloing. Maybe everyone on your party is just shit and you're carrying and that's what they expected you to do. So you might as well carry. So you've got other pieces of gear that you could carry with. Some pieces that I like to carry with would be some number of Valorous pieces with augments that are not obviously pet augments. That's from a Beastmaster. Valorous is good. Odyssean is good if you want to do stuff. Augment different kinds of sets of gear for your TP and your weapon skill sets. Then you could do some sort of Valorous or Odyssean combination. You can also do some Ambuscade if you want. I particularly like the body Flammerkrausen. I probably should get that +2'd. I like it. It's store TP 8. That's pretty strong. You could definitely get that on your Odyssean or your Valorous though, if you want. So some combination between Odyssean, Valorous, and Ambuscade would be the way to go on your 5 out of 5 armor pieces. If you're trying to do any combination of various things, including tanking without Sovereign, including DPS just in general, getting to 1000 TP as fast as possible, including actually dealing damage with those swings, including actually weapon skilling with those gears. Like, there's all these different pieces of gear you could use, and I have multiple sets of weapon skill gear because there's so many different ways to weapon skill as Paladin. If you're using a greatsword, you use your torque lever. That's a vitality skill, so you need vitality plus on your gear, not actually anything else. So you'd have a weapon skill damage set with the vitality plus on it. If you're not using torque lever because you don't have a Calidbog, or you don't have a beryllium sword +1 because you're not Pwn slot, then you probably have a sword and you're probably spamming CDC. Well, CDC is a dex weapon skill, so you need dex. It's also crit. You need crit. You have other sword weapon skills, Savage Blade, so you need strength and mind for that one. You see what I'm saying? So all these different sets of gear can be made for all these different weapon skills that you're using, and there's lots of different sets that I use on all of my different weapon skills on Paladin. So there's never enough Paladin gear that you can get your hands on. Just take it from me. You can keep getting Paladin gear. You'll never have all of it. You'll never have it all done, okay? There's some set of gear that you can always come up with. Magic attack bonus for your Sanguine Blades weapon skill. Boom. There you go. You want to sub Black Mage and deal damage? You need magic attack bonus for that. Like, there's just so many different things you can do. So many different things. So just know that there's a lot of tech with this job, in addition to simply tanking and pressing provoke every 30 seconds. You don't even get provoke as Paladin, people. Why do you think provoke is a Paladin skill when it's not? Like, oh, you didn't provoke every 30 seconds. That's fucking because provoke is a warrior skill, you jackass. Like, Paladin has Flash, Paladin has Cure 4, Paladin has Sentinel and Rampart. If you're not a Paladin main, you're probably saying Paladin has provoke. Obviously, I'm a Paladin main. I know a thing or two, or three, or everything about this job. And basically, like, yeah, you don't need to sub. You don't need to sub warrior for provoke on this job. Give me a break. Give me a break. Once you're done with this job, like, this sword has Immunity plus 23 on it. Hello! Like, come on, that's one piece of gear. Like, you don't fucking need provoke, dude. You need to do anything else and just have your Immunity gear on, and you're fine. You're totally fine. You can do what you want. You can do what you want. I mean, yeah, the thief might accomplish you, but you could simply get it back with a Flash and a Cure 4, like, anytime. So, yeah, like, there's not much else to say about this job other than, like, come on, guys. If you're not subbing warrior, that doesn't make you bad at Paladin. It doesn't. You don't have to sub warrior on Paladin. You could sub whatever the fuck you want on this job and be good, okay? As long as you have the immunity to actually keep hate, you don't need provoke. Provoke is just one way to get there. There's a lot of ways to get there, Think about that shit. It opens up so many more avenues when you realize that you just don't have warrior sub at your disposal. You have all these different ways to play this job. Alright? So let's move on, because I think I discussed just about everything you could ever want to know about this job. So let's go ahead and switch to the next one. That will be Dark Knight. Oh, this video is getting super long. I can already tell it's going on 2 hours. It's going to go on 2 hours, I bet. Alright, so I don't play a lot of Dark Knight, but I have gear for Dark Knight. It's just not equipped at the moment. Basically, if I were to play Dark Knight, I'd probably try to get by with some number of Sinister Rain pieces and Ambuscade pieces. That's how I play the job. When I pull them out, I'm usually wearing Ambuscade or Sinister Rain. I don't have any JSEs done, but I'm betting that they're all pretty good, especially stuff that helps Soul Eater and probably the other stuff, but mostly Soul Eater. I think Soul Eater's like the best ability on Dark Knight, personally. I love it as a sub job. Soul Eater, just great, super great. Thief, Dark Knight, oh man, press Soul Eater, prepare to die. Basically, basically that's what I do. I feel a little ridiculous talking to you guys about Dark Knight with none of my Dark Knight stuff pulled out, but I will just show you kind of what I have done for Dark Knight. I have these merits, and I kind of went the same way, where I just put a point in everything and then just tweak from there. So I think Soul Eater Recast, it's a good ability, but it's fun as a sub job. Soul Eater is. It's fun as a sub Dark. I don't know how main Dark uses it, but I bet you that Last Resort is better than Soul Eater. So that's why I merited it this way. This is probably a terrible way to go, but I bet I'm not too far off from a lot of Dark Knights out there. So I would feel comfortable telling you guys to do this. And in the group too, I mean, I feel like, again, a point in everything. Muted Soul didn't seem to be that important. Like, I feel like I should not have to ever reduce my enmity in any fight at all. Like, if my tank can't hold hate off of me, then that is a shit tank, my friend. So why would I waste points here? Why? Why would I do that? To help my gimpy-ass tank actually learn how to play his job? Well, he's not. If you're helping him by putting a 5/5 Muted Soul in the party, then he's a shit tank. And the only reason he's still tanking is because you put a 5/5 Muted Soul. The next guy he gets in his party that's also a Dark Knight's not going to have that, and he's going to take hate, and the tank's going to wonder why the fuck he fucked up. Like, how did he fuck up? What happened? Well, you fucking kept him gimp because you allowed him to play with this additional effect in his favor. You merited his fucking guy, dude. Why would you no. Merit your guy. Merit your guy. What are you doing? Alright, so I felt like Diabolic Eye was pretty cool. Desperate Blows is, okay. Okay, I like the delay being reduced. That's pretty good. And Dark Seal, okay. Okay, it's a recap. It's an ability. I wanted to have it. I wanted that extra tech, so I picked it up. So I'm guessing that this is probably pretty close to what a lot of Dark Knights will go with, but it's probably not exact. And I would probably change it if I started mastering the job and realized that there were better ways to play it. But for now, I can just basically see it as a DPS, kind of like Warrior. Specifically with the Scyther or Greatsword, but kind of like Warrior in most cases. Your main Dark Knights are probably screaming at me right now, saying like, why didn't you mention you could dual-wield swords, you jackass? Don't you remember Riddle was a thing? Like, yeah, I remember this shit, dude. I know about Joy Toy, come on. Like, are you serious? Like, let's go, alright? Basically what we have here is we have a job that can have any number of 119 pieces of gear equipped. Most cases, it's going to be a Greatsword or a Scythe if it's a Dark Knight. The most Dark Knights that I see are using an Apocalypse as a Scythe. It's simply just the popular choice, Apocalypse. It's cheap, it's easy to get if you want to just use it for flair around town. It looks cool, it's a solid gold Scythe, like great choice. Okay? Does a lot of DPS. If they're not using that, they're using a Bog, okay? Which is a great sword that I'm also working on. Which is probably what I'll be religiously using on my Dark Knight, come to think of it. Okay, because Torque Cleaver is going to be OP. And especially considering all the pieces of gear that augment Torque Cleaver that I would actually put Vitality on if I were able to augment those gears, like let's say that they're Esho or Reason Gema pieces that you can augment, I would augment them with weapon skill damage and Vitality for the Torque Cleaver for my Paladin, but also I could still use all of those same pieces of gear on Dark Knight because Paladin and Dark Knight share the same kind of gear pool in general. In most cases, so I feel like that's a pretty solid way to kind of cheat my way into a really cool, strong Dark Knight, simply because I'll be using the same pieces of gear on my Paladin as I would be on my Dark Knight in most cases. which I'm able to say that because I have a DPS set on Paladin. Most people are like, why would you play a tank Dark Knight? That doesn't make any sense. No, you're mistaken. You're mistaking me completely. I'm talking about my DPS Paladin. I'm talking about all the DPS choices that I make on Paladin to make the Tor Cleaver do more damage. That's the same kind of stuff that I would have access to as a Dark Knight. That's what I'm saying. And I feel like that would be really strong. So for me, that's what I'm going to go with. So that kind of gives you an idea. If you have no interest in getting an RMEA done on Dark Knight, but you still want to know what you could use in addition to that, I have some things that I picked up over the years that I think is actually pretty good for Dark Knight. Let me actually see if I can find some really quick. Like, all the SR stuff is pretty good for gear. Dark Knight. Bear with me while I find it. I think Dark Knight uses this dagger too. Nope, they don't use the dagger. Okay, they can use some swords, but I don't think they can use any daggers. Well, I'm not seeing it. I really don't play this job as much as other people. But I have some stuff. I just don't know where I put it. Probably a Deathbane? Yeah. Yeah, probably just this. This is a pretty easy thing to get. Not bad. I think there's another one I got, though, other than Deathbane. Well, I'm not seeing it. I'm sure there's 119 stuff that you can get that's quite easy to get. Quite easy to get. I just don't know what all of them are. But I would say that you could probably get by with the Deathbane that I showed you, the augmented Path A or whatever the fuck it was. And, you know, in addition to that, Ambuscade, JSE, just like everything else, would probably be good. Obviously, you're still rocking all of the accessories that you gained, which are all the accessories in the game, hopefully. At some point, you'll have all of them, and all of them will help you play Dark Knight. There might be one or two pieces that are exclusive to Dark Knight that are accessories. I'm not 100% sure. I do know a lot of people are using the haste belt that is really handy on Dark Knight. It's got some other stats on it. I'm trying to remember what it is, but it's definitely something I only see on like Dark Knight and a couple of other jobs because of the way that they build their guy. They need to meet the haste cap, and that's what helps them do it. Yeah, so in general, I mean, I can't really give you too much information about gear choices because I don't have everything for this job. But, you know, I have basic stuff. Nothing is equipped, and I don't really want to spend much more time talking about it because I feel like there's better Dark Knights out there that could give you more information, for sure. But you could probably play it just like the Warrior I discussed earlier, with most of the same pieces of gear. Let's move on to another guy. Let's go Moghouse. Change up. Let's go to Beastmaster. I have a lot of Beastmaster gear that I can talk about. So let's go with that. Alright, so let's start with the merits. Okay, Beastmaster merits. Alright, so first category. This was before item level was a thing. This was level 75 cap I was doing this. Reward recast, because I was rewarding a lot. I feel like that's not super relevant now. Maybe killer effects is better. But you could tweak this. It's obviously just what I came up with. Tame is useless, just know that. It's completely useless. Call Beast recast is also completely useless. In 99.999999999% of your content that you're going to want to do, it's probably completely useless. Okay? It's only ever going to be good if you're already getting wrecked and you lost your beast, your HQ beast from your bestial loyalty ability, and that's on cooldown. So then you can use Call Beast, and then that gets put on cooldown, but then you have this Call Beast recast, so maybe you can get another beast if you need. But if you need a third beast, you're probably going to wipe anyway. So I'm just telling you, it's very rare that this is actually going to be a deal breaker if you put any points in it at all, okay? The Sick is really strong. I do like it at 5. I think it needs to be at 5. I think that's like the one critical thing in Group 1 for this job. And Group 2, I like a point in everything. Killer Instinct, I feel like you're mostly solo with Beastmaster. In 99% of the time, you're probably soloing. So you probably don't need... At least that's always been the case. In today's 119 version, maybe you are partying but in most cases you're not helping your party members, so why get Killer Instinct? If you are finding yourself partying a lot as Beastmaster, then you could easily swap this out for like a 5/5 Killer Instinct if you feel like you need it. But I think that this is okay as a 0. I've never had a problem with this being at 0. The Howl being at 1 has always been kind of meh. It usually misses. It does need the extra points for the accuracy increase, but it does sometimes land, and I feel like it might as well be at 0, honestly. If you're going to want to use it, you probably want to use it higher than 1. After having looked at this for a long time, I feel like it's quite useless at 1, but I don't know. It just depends. It's very rare that I ever need that ability anyway. But these two on the bottom, these have been pretty strong for me. At least at the point in the game where I was level 75 and I needed to have a stronger pet, Beast Affinity increasing the level was relevant. I don't know how that works at 119, and I haven't been able to find enough information about how it works, and I haven't been able to actually scientifically deduce my own information, my own data for this, so I don't know if Beast Affinity is any good at all. I'm sure that it does something good still, so you might as well have it. I feel like the game wouldn't just actually nerf a merit ability ever, so I feel like it's going to be good. I haven't been disappointed by it at 4. I like it at 4. I feel like 4 is a comfortable level for this guy, and I haven't found any information to the contrary, so I'll keep it at 4. And the healer, I think, is a stronger one. The regen of the reward, if I do need the reward effect, having the regen is actually pretty strong. In most cases at 119, it's usually like I'm grinding an Esha and this is completely irrelevant, but in some cases I'm fighting high-end content and I need that the regen. So the reward becomes instantly good, the regen becomes instantly good, and I'm just happier because I have those merited at 5. But I don't think the merits really matter on this job. You can go so many different ways. No one should tell you that you're wrong meriting in any particular way on Beastmaster, because this is a solo job. First and foremost, it's like doing its own thing all the time, so you do you, man. You do you when it comes to Beastmaster. Now, I will tell you, there is one thing that I would like to say, and that is you do want to dual wield on this job, because there's not really any particularly great shields out there for you. There is 1 or 2 you could get, which I would show, simply because I want to show them to you, that you have the option to not sub Dancer or Ninja and play the job with like a shield that's not bad. So let me show you a shield that's actually pretty good for Beastmaster. It's from Omen. I'll find it eventually. Adibus shield. Here we go. This is a shield that Beastmaster can equip. This is the best shield for Beastmaster in the entire game. There is a reward shield you can get that I don't think is eye level. Maybe there's a Unity Concord version of it, but there is a reward shield you can get that actually does help your pet get more HP back, quite a bit more HP back, and it's really strong. And there's a reward axe that you can get, probably also an item level equivalent that's Unity Concord obtainable that you could get for a reward set that's pretty strong. So in that sense, when you're using reward, this obviously would not be the shield you would equip for the reward ability. But if you're not using the reward ability, in most of the other cases you don't have a shield to equip to augment whatever it is you're doing, this would be the shield for you. So if you're not dual wielding, then you would probably want this shield specifically in your offhand. I think it's the strongest one to get. It's got HP on it, it's got everything you would want on it, okay? But if you are dual wielding, which you mostly will be on this job, you're probably going to offhand this one axe right here. It's the only one that you would probably ever offhand. If I can find it. Where is it? It's grayed out because I'm not dual wielding, I think. Oh no, it's not. It's right here. It's not grayed out. I just can't equip it because I'm not dual wielding. Okay. So, it's called Charmer's Merlin. It's from Abyssy, and it's not hard to get, and you need to get it. You need to get this axe. This is a very strong axe. I used to have the legs that you got from the add-on content they gave us back at level 75 that also was able to be augmented with the same effect, sick and ready ability delay -5, but I actually threw those away. It was called the Sulturous Tassets. I threw them away a while back, and I could get them again if I needed to, but I feel like Charmer's Merlin is better in general than the Sulturous Tassets, and I feel like it's always going to be more relevant than the Sulturous Tassets. And I'm happy with no Desulter's Tassets. Reason for this is because Desulter's Tassets are not item level, so if I equip them to do sick and ready ability recast, I'm weaker. I'm weaker when I do this, and that can sometimes screw me over. So why would I sacrifice item level, my precious item level, for something that's Desultor's Tacits that's not even level 99 or item level? Like, I can't afford to do that. But in the offhand slot, this is a level 89 axe. It's already higher level than Desultor's Tacits. It already has the same kind of stats that Desultor's Tacits has on it, and it does not affect my item level, because the item level is calculated, remember this, quote me on this, the item level is calculated by the 5 pieces of armor you wear and 1 of the top row. 1 of the top row. That means if you're a ranger and you have a 119 bow, you're good. You don't need a 119 dagger. You'll still be item level 119 if you have a 119 bow. If you're a thief and you have a 119 bow or a 119 gun, but level 99 everything else, you're still good because you have the 119 go or bun. Go or bun? Bun or go? Wait, that's not right either. Bow or gun. That's what I meant to say. We got there. Okay. All right. So you can do that with the range slot. Just get a 119. You get a 119 shield. You're good. You do not need a 119 dagger. You do not need a 119 range. You just need the 119 shield. You're 119. Done. Or you could have a 119 main weapon. And that means your offhand and your range doesn't need to be any particular item level, and you'll still be item level 119. You can see I'm actually 117 because I'm using a level 99 non-item level boots, and that's my movement speed boots, Scotty's Jumbo +1, which are the best boots for Beastmaster, by the way. You should get them. They're just not item level, unfortunately. Okay, so that kind of gives you a basic understanding of how you could play this job and why I made the choices I made on like Desultor's Tacits, tossing them and not keeping them. And I feel like I'm almost Master Beast and I'm fine with not having Desultor's Tacits, and I've always been fine with that. So I've never had the urge to go get them again. I feel like you don't need them, honestly, but you do need the Charmer's Merlin. It's very important. If you're not going to use the Charmer's Merlin because you don't want to or whatever, I'll tell you one good reason why you don't need the Charmer's Merlin. If you're using your special ability, then you don't care about the ability to delay because it's always going to be 0 during your special ability, Unleash. So because your ability delay is always going to be like 0 recast time when you're using Unleash, then you just don't need the Charmer's Merlin at all. So then you could actually put on the second best offhand in the game, which you would use when you're actually using Unleash. When you're using Unleash, you take the Charmer's Merlin off the offhand, and you put the Digger Balag on the offhand. Okay? And that's how you would play. Or you could put the Arc Toy here, if you're not main-wielding the Arc Toy. I'm using the Arc Toy, which is the Obero Axe. If you have the Mythic, Relic, Aeonic, Empyrean instead, then you could put that in your main hand and offhand the Arc Toy, and that's fine. Or you could offhand the Digger Balag. It's really strong. Quite strong. Okay? And that's really strong during your Unleash. You'll notice that it's much better than the Charmer's Merlin in the offhand. One of those 2 axes will be. And that's it, I think, for Beastmaster. I talked about all the gear, all the weapons that you would want. I think the best ultimate weapon is probably the Mythic these days, unless you're worried about melee damage. Beastmaster, Master melee damage, not Pet melee damage. If you're worried about the Master's melee damage, you probably want a Relic, or an Empyrean, or even an Aeonic. Probably an Aeonic, actually. They're pretty lit. But if you're worried about the pet's damage, then the Mythic is the way to go. Definitely the one to get first if you're worried about the pet's damage. And that's what I'm worried about. That's what I gear towards. So I have the interest in getting that weapon done, the Mythic axe done at some point. And that's probably it. And then I'll offhand Arc Toy during my Unleash ability, and that's it. Everything else is going to be offhand Charmer's Merlin all the time. Okay, or Digger Balag instead of Arc Toy. I haven't decided yet. Okay, so Ambuscade gear, 5 out of 5 on the body pieces. If you're not going to do that, then you could get away with Valorous. Valorous is really strong. You can augment it with Pet Augs. So many different ways. You could go that. There's some Esha gear, I think, that you can get that is also equipable by Red Mage as well as Beastmaster. And it's kind of shit, but you can put some pretty decent augments on it for pets. You could get that as well, if you want. But I think the Valorous is better, personally. You could also get JSE stuff if you feel the need to. There's just a lot of different ways to build the Beastmaster. As long as your item level, you're probably going to be okay, though. It's probably all you need. I do think this is a seriously strong belt to consider getting, by the way. I just want to throw that out there. I love it for all 5 of those jobs. Really strong. Okay, so that's about it for Beast. We can actually move on. I feel like I've actually went over everything that I need to go over. Let's talk about Bard. Bard's a really, really hard job to talk about, you guys. There's just a lot of gear that you need to get for this job to be good. It also includes a lot of JSE, a lot of RME, a lot of everything. Oh my god, it's just a very RMEA even. Listen, you guys, every single one of the ultimate weapons for Bard is good. Every single one of the ultimate weapons for Bard is almost mandatory, and that is tilting, because I don't have them all. It's tilting. You need them all. You need all of the ultimates for Bard. That's one of the few jobs in the game that benefits the most from having all of the ultimates at its disposal. If you complete the Bard arsenal, you become a better Bard than, say, a warrior that completed the warrior arsenal. I hope that's a good example. I hope that's a fair example, because the warrior only ever needs one of his weapons. The Bard arsenal includes all these different instruments and weapons that are extremely useful, and they fit in multiple slots on your character sheet, so they're benefiting you more times. At any given time, you're getting like double the benefit from your RMEA because they're in multiple slots. You have a dagger, you have an instrument. That's 2 ultimates, as opposed to like warrior having 1 axe, for example. So you see my argument here? Like there's a lot of pieces of gear you need for Bard. And where to start? I'll start with the ultimates. Actually, before I get into it, let's go ahead and get the merits out of the way. So let's look at merits really quick for Bard. I think this is a fair way to do merits on Bard. I feel like Lullaby is not relevant. None of the recast stuff is relevant because you're going to be spamming spells and you have a lot of fast cast at your disposal, so you're going to have a really, really fast recast times on all this stuff. You're probably also marching everyone, so you've got that working in your favor for the haste effect, so you're really not ever going to have any spells on cooldown. Pretty much. When you need them, they're going to be off cooldown, so you don't need these. I do think Minuet's probably better than Min. So you probably want to 5-5 that. Madrigal in certain content is going to be almost mandatory, so you might as well 5-5 that to help your team out. Just give them that extra accuracy they're going to need to get the level 150 content done, for example. Okay, and it stacks, obviously, with like Soul Voice and stuff. So that's pretty strong. Now in the second category, I thought 1-1 out of it, 1 point and everything would be good, but then I really thought about this and I was like, okay, listen, why do I need to reduce enmity? Anything dealing with enmity is something that the team needs to figure out. I don't need to work that out for them. I don't. We put a shit party together if the Bard is responsible for who gets enmity, okay? So I'm just not using this stuff, you guys. Not using it at all. Those are 2 songs that you have access to that technically you would want to get if you would want to say that you have all the songs in the game, all the spells in the game. I don't, because I don't have these. I could instantly get these unlocked if I want, so I would still say I have all the spells. Fine, fair enough. I could just instantly put a point in these and have them at any time. So I choose not to have them because I think that they're bad. I think that they're actually bad spells. I do think Nightingale and Troubadour are extremely good. Extremely good. So you want 5 out of 5 on these. This is the way I built my Bard. This is the way I've always had my Bard. I've never really changed this, okay? And I feel like it's always been good, okay? So, for the unforeseeable future, I'm going to say this is the way to go. Okay? So that's merits. So let's talk about RMEA. The first thing you need to know is you can't play Bard without a Yallarhorn. You just cannot. You do not play this. You do not join a party at level 99 without a Yallarhorn. If you want to play Bard in any party, you either get a level 99 or an item level 119 Unity Concord instrument for the meantime while you're working on Yallarhorn, or you just don't play Bard. Okay? Those are the only acceptable things. If you join my party, ever, and you bring a Bard that has not got an item level instrument or a Yallarhorn, I'm going to rage, and you're not going to be able to come back to my party without that instrument. Okay? This is a very important instrument to get. Okay? In addition to this instrument, you have Terpenter, which is something I would highly recommend you get. It gives you an extra song. That's important. Okay? You can get this until you get your Mythic done. Your Mythic is another harp. Your Mythic gives you 2 additional songs. So it's better than Terpenter. Straight up. So you would be using Yallarhorn, and you would be using your Mythic harp, which is, I think, Dardablia, I think is how you say it. Those are the 2 instruments you'll be using as the end game Bard. But until you get there, Yallarhorn and Terpenter would work. Actually, Dardabla is actually the Empyrean. It's not the Mythic. The Mythic is the dagger, that's right. Okay, so the Empyrean harp is the Dardabla. That's the one that gives you the 2 songs, and it is not a Mythic, it is an Empyrean. But it is very good, and we definitely need to have all of the bards get this. So eventually I will have one, but it's on the back burner for now. I do not need it. I'm not in a rush to get it. I'm happy that I have the Yallarhorn done. I can move on to bigger and better things. But eventually I'm going to want to finish my Dardabla, and I'm also going to want to finish my Mythic Dagger. Karnwenen is what it's called. Okay, so those are the things to look out for RMEAs, and that's all of them. Relic being the Yallarhorn, Mythic being the Karnwenen Dagger, and Empyrean being the Dardabla, and the Aeonic being the Marcius, which I didn't talk about yet, but you should already know. If you don't, well, let me tell you, Marcius is a really good flute, and the Marcius gives you Honor March, which actually is really strong. Honor March is really, really strong. It's kind of busted, actually. You can use it outside of Rizenjima, which makes it even stronger than a lot of the stuff that you get native to Rizenjima, because Honor March comes from Rizenjima, because it comes from an Aeonic weapon, which exists in Rizenjima. Okay, listen. So that's my point. All right, you can take that ability outside of Rizenjima. That makes it so good. For all the content outside of Rizenjima, you could still use Honor March. That's busted. That's so good. All right. So I like the fact that it's an Aeonic that I can carry outside of Rizenjima, and it's not like a Vorseal, for example, or something like that. Honor March. Honor March I can use anywhere. Anywhere. Ambuscade? Check. I don't care. Honor March. Let's go. Whatever I want to do, I can bring that to. So get the Aeonic harp, the Aeonic flute at some point, and you'll be very happy that you did. So it's on my to-do list. Definitely something I'm going to consider getting, probably after my next Aeonic, or something like that. Well, for gear, well, Bard has a lot of gear. There's a lot of JSCs for Bard that's actually really good. You can actually go +3 a lot of this stuff now, makes it extremely good. Bard is just getting very, very good buffs every single patch. You have Telchin stuff, which, you know, you could actually augment to help your Bard. Some of them actually has native Bard, like Song Recast or whatever, on them. I think it's like the legs Telchin or something like that. Maybe it's not the legs. Something. Well, anyway, you get the idea. Like, there's a lot of different dungeons in the game, a lot of different battlefield content that give you sets of gear that are really good. And some of the sets of gear that I think are really good on this job include Telchin, include the Ambuscade sets, both of them, and your JSEs. Chironics. Chironics are also really good on this job. So you've got Inyanga, you've got Ayanmo, you've got Telchin, you've got Chironic stuff, you've got all this different stuff. And then there's some pieces that are just like extremely niche that just come to you for that one particular job. Like, I think there's a glove. Yeah, there's a glove for Bard that you can get. Big Ute gloves, okay? Great. So you can get that kind of stuff. Lots of Chironic pieces. Alright. You can get Incanter's Torque for Bard. Or you can get Moonbow Whistle. Bard exclusive. Really, really good. Definitely want to invest in that. Okay? So there's just a lot of different things that you can grab for this job. Don't really have that much time to talk about all of them and still talk about everything else and keep everyone's attention, so I won't. But if you don't have any RMEAs, or you're really short on the RMEAs for Bard, or you just don't want to get a dagger until way, way late, like if you don't want to get this mythic until like forever from now, then you can go with this Kali. Kali's actually a pretty good choice because of the buffs that you can get here. So that helps free up your other gear slots for things that don't have instrument skill on them, because the Kali has the instrument skill, right? So you can do that if you want. If you have enough skill on your other pieces of gear, you can just go Blurred Knife +1, or you can go Taming Sari, believe it or not. Best dagger in the game, pretty much. Best dagger for all those jobs that's non-ultimate, Taming Sari. Really strong. Sinister Terrain drop. Very, very good dagger. Okay, very good dagger. And you can use it on Bard. So it's really strong. Nice. I like it. Okay. So that's about all I have to say for Bard. I know that there's a lot more I could say, and people are probably upset that I'm not saying, but I think I covered just about everything briefly. Pieces of gear that you really want to get, ways to play the job in general, and most of the gear that you're going to want to look out for from the different battlefields that it comes in. So Sinister Rain, Ambuscade, things like that. And what was the other one? I guess you could wear some Vagary stuff for the refresh, maybe. I don't know. Let's move on though. Let's move on to another job. Let's go to Ranger. I don't really play Ranger that much, but I can tell you a couple things. I can tell you that obviously you need a 119 gun or a 119 bow. I mean, that's a no-brainer, right? Ranger has always been a job that uses axes or daggers in the main hand and or the offhand. Now in the offhand you can actually use this Nusku shield. So that would allow you to not have to dual wield with like sub dancer or sub ninja. You could actually sub something like warrior or anything you want, really, a Corsair, whatever it is. Like you sub whatever you want, and you could use this shield. And this is a fantastic shield. A lot of people are using this. This is a metagame decision now, where they're actually, whether or not they're subbing dancer or ninja is irrelevant, but they're definitely using this shield because it's very strong. They're using Unity Concord stuff, 119 plus 1 Unity Concord axe or daggers, pretty much, or they're using an RMEA. In most cases, though, they're using the Unity Concord stuff, and their RMEA is their bow. They'll use the bow. That's RMEA. I do think that the more popular choice is the Aeonic gun, Fomalhaut, which I don't have yet, but Ranger can use it. I think it's a really popular choice for the metagame right now, and it's quite cheap and easy to get in comparison to the other choices that you have at your disposal. That said, you should never underestimate the mythic weapon for the Ranger. Gastrophedes is a crossbow mythic, and it is extremely strong. Extremely strong. It shits on like everything, you guys, alright? So, Gastrophedes with the right equip set is fucking nuts, okay? I just wanted to point that out. I've seen some really sick Rangers with that crossbow, and it's very strong. Ambuscade gear will probably get you there for the rest of these slots. You could probably get away with ambuscade gear. It's quite good, especially when you +2 it all. Alright. You can actually use stuff like the Pursuer's set from Esha, which actually is pretty useful for the fact that it has marksmanship skill on it, it has range attack and such on it, but it also has the ability to put rapid shot and subtle blow on it, agility on it, things like that. So there's just some interesting tech that this has. I personally have this Pursuer's Beret because it has store TP on the front side, equipable by Thief, Ranger, Ninja, and Core, and on the back side it has Rapid Shot 10, also still equipable by those 4 jobs. What this means is I could use any of those 4 jobs to shoot things and use this for my Rapid Shot, and also I can use this during my store TP when I play Corsair main or sub. If I'm subbing Corsair, I can still quick draw with the Corsair sub, and I get the store TP +5 still, which means that if I'm playing Thief subbing Core, I can still get the store TP +5 every time I quick draw if I have this equipment macroed in for my quick draw set, which I do. Instead of using magic attack bonus on my quick draw set for Core, I use store TP bonus. I use store TP bonus because this gives me more TP back when I use the quick shot. So I use the shot and I get extra TP back. And in some cases it's enough to weapon skill with. So I have an entire set of gear that I dedicated just to be able to actually get more TP back off of my quick shots. Okay, so that's just something I wanted to make note of. And of course on Ranger you could still kind of use it. And I'm sure there's a lot of different pieces of gear that I'm not going to be able to mention because I just don't have them and I don't play the job enough to know what they are. But you can equip Herculean stuff to this job. In addition to the ambuscade stuff, you have the Teon set as well that you could look forward to. And I mean, this is a pretty good piece of gear in general for all the jobs that can use it because of the refresh sphere effect that it has. Okay. And I'm sure there's best in slot cape would be probably the ambuscade. Some ambuscade augments would probably be pretty solid. But the rest of the gear is probably going to be all from ambuscade and things of that nature that I mentioned. Probably use the Aeonic gun and call it a day. If I really want to eventually be like a super good ranger, I'll probably have a lot of stuff thrown away so I have inventory space, and then I'll probably build a mythic ranger if I wanted to, or I might even put that on another character since it would require so many more pieces of gear that I just don't have space for on this character. I could maybe do a second character with a mythic crossbow And I think I showed my merits. I didn't. Okay, let's show the merits. Alright, so I'm kind of going one of everything here. Putting extra points where I think they need to be. This is probably something similar to what you would have on your ranger. Not bad. Maybe 5 out of 5 this. It's okay. This is not terrible. Not terrible. It's not really an ideal way to do it. All these are kind of meh. Like, recycle rate. Who the fuck really cares? Like, okay. Alright. I'll go with it. Alright. So that's the ranger. Again, I mean, I'm kind of a fresh 119 ranger. I'm not going to lie. So, there's room for improvement. But I have enough gear to play the job. I could play the job. I would just need to find the gear, dig it out, and actually use it. So let's go to the next job on the list. Samurai. I have a little bit more knowledge about Samurai than Ranger, actually. I know that the Relic Bow can be used by Ranger and Samurai. That's pretty interesting. Alright. So Samurai. Samurai's a pretty interesting job. Okay. So, I mean, you kind of build Samurai kind of tanky. So a lot of the accessories you're going to probably use are going to be some sort of HP plus, PDT minus, MDT minus, something like that. And you're probably also going to invest in a set of gear for like actually engaged, accuracy plus, or multi-hit, like double attack, triple attack, quad attack, that sort of thing. That's probably going to be a no-brainer for a lot of these jobs. You're going to need stuff like that done. Let's start at the merits before we get too much into the weapons. Let's get the merits out of the way. So I'm kind of going one on everything. In the first category, I'm actually not going with the recasts on these because you can actually make the third eye recast shorter anyway by using Sagan first. Sagan third eye makes the third eye recast very short, so you might as well just not even change the recast time at all on that. And you just go back to Hasso after you do the third eye, and then now you have Hasso again. So you could do that. So there's no real reason that I can see to actually put any points here. Warding Circle is not really that relevant. I mean, I'm sure some people will say there's certain content that Warding Circle 5 out of 5 would be pretty clutch. But I don't know. I'm sure there's enough gear in the game that exists that you can get to help you get there without the merits. But this stuff right here I think is a little bit more important at the bottom. I think the Zanshin attack is really important, but I could be mistaken. I feel like a lot of samurais, though, will probably look at this and be like, yeah, that looks an awful lot like how I did mine. Alright. Sword TP is probably a little bit more important than Meditate. Okay, so maybe something like 5 out of 5, and then Zanshin go down, Meditate go down, something like that. I think these three are probably the more important ones, so I actually split them up between those three. And then the bottom three here as well, in group 2. I just don't know how I feel about Shikikoyo. I mean, sharing TP with a party member is interesting, but every single time I'm like, hey, there's a samurai in my party, and I'm like, hey Sam, do you think you can give me TP? They're like, I don't have that merit. I don't have that merit actually merited. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. That's just interesting that nobody ever does this. So, yeah, while it's a highly demanded ability from players, like, oh man, I would really love it if the samurai shared his TP right now. A lot of samurais don't go with it. They just, and including myself. I would love to have that ability used on me, but I don't even have it. Like, how can I expect other people to have it if I don't even have it? You see what I'm saying? But people just don't. People just don't. They don't even consider it. Like, they're not even worried about it. Not even worried about it at all. Like, you got to worry about your own guy. You got to get your own TP, dude. That's how they feel. But for the bottom three here, it's like Overwhelm seems to be really strong for what it can do. And then these other two seem to be kind of okay. I mean, I feel like the stun is not bad, and the plague effect being increased is kind of okay. I feel like the plague effect being increased by 15 seconds per merit is actually really strong, but I don't know how relevant it would be overall because I haven't tested it enough as a 5 out of 5. But I do like this, and I do like this, so that's why I have it merited this way. So leave some comments if you think there's a better way to do this for like a fresh 119 Sam. But I think this is pretty fair. It's a pretty fair way to do it. Not too bad. And for gear choices, like, obviously I'm not going to carry too much Sam stuff on me because I don't play the job that much. But I think I have a couple of great katanas that are not RMEA, obviously, that I carry just in case I have to pull the job out. So I'll show them. I don't remember exactly where to get them, but at least you'll see the choices that I made. So let's see. Where are you? Okay, here's one. So Himetsuri Ichimonji is pretty decent. Sobro, still used. Believe it or not. Alright. So that's pretty solid item level. Pretty neat 2 to 3 times attack right here on this guy. What else we got? I think we got something else. Maybe actually not on me, maybe in storage. Umaru. Umaru is pretty good. Not hard to get either. Could get that. I think those are the best ones that are non-RMEA, actually. I think those are the only ones I have that are non-RMEA as well. But as far as ultimate weapons go, I think the best ones are going to be like... oh, there's a lot of really good ones. Masamune's really popular, but honestly I think the Dojiri, which is the Aeonic, is probably better than all of them. It's called, I want to say it's called Dojiri Ichimonji. And it's basically an extremely strong great katana. It does some amazing stuff in Omen, by the way, against certain end bosses. It is allowing you to actually stack skill chain damage much higher and much more frequent than not having it. If you didn't have that specific great katana, the Aeonic great katana, then you wouldn't be able to do Radiance, for example. And you wouldn't be able to do that bonus skill chain damage to those specific bosses that require it, so you wouldn't have that at your disposal, which would make the difference between winning and losing in some cases. So just like the Gastrophides, it's really clutch in Omen and high-end content in general, in niche situations where you really need to have very strong weapon skills, very strong skill chain damage, then the Dojiri seems to take the cake. Alright? And for Namus Arrow, you can use it on Samurai if you get the Relic bow done, which is not bad, but I don't see it that often. I used to see it a lot more at level 75. People would go Samurai subbing Ranger, and they would have both the Samurai bow and the Samurai Great Katana, and that would be them, and it would be nice. Like the Relic Great Katana is a solid pick. It's very cheap to get, easy to make, really strong, just like the bow. Alright, so you could get both of those, and that would be pretty good. Honestly, if you're a Samurai main, you probably want to collect everything. You do. I feel like all of them are really strong, but I think the more popular choices are the Aeonic and the Masamune, which is the Empyrean. But that doesn't necessarily mean those are the best in every situation. Obviously, they're all going to be situationally different. And that's it for RMEAs for Sam, I think. We kind of discussed gear a little bit. I don't have that much gear for Samurai. The stuff I'm rocking is like Ambuscade, Sinister Rain, that sort of thing, Valor set, that sort of thing. That's kind of what I'm rocking on Samurai, and I feel like that's fair, but I feel like the JSCs are highly needed for this job because of some of the different buffs that they offer some of your job abilities, and since this job is really hard on job abilities, I feel like you might as well get the augmented gear that is associated with the job abilities you use. So yeah, I mean, JSCs are probably more important than I give them credit for, and so you might want to consider getting those for this job too if you're going to main it. But other than that, I think you're pretty much there. I think you pretty much have all the information you need. You just need to figure out what sets make the most damage output on what particular weapon skills. You need to understand how the weapon skills work with each other and how they skill chain one after another, and you know what gear obviously augments them. But for now, I think that's enough talk for Sam. You can probably find more information from a Master Sam. Let's talk briefly about Ninja. It looks like there's a problem with a Ninja file somewhere. But anyway, so here we go. I have Ninja here. Basically, Ninja's kind of interesting job. It's a DPS and also a tank at the same time. So it kind of functions a lot like Rune Fencer does as far as its potential in a party. But it has a little bit of more of an interesting flavor than Rune Fencer in that it actually is more of like a red mage enfeebling than anything else. With the ninjutsu that it has at its disposal, it's able to actually enfeeble a lot of different enfeeblements on the monster. It has a lot of magic accuracy gear that it can get its hands on at 119 that allows it to be really strong with its magical accuracy and actually land these enfeebles. Alright? It has a lot of ninjutsu skill stuff that it can get that also helps these enfeebles actually land. And some monsters, it's better to have a ninja than a red mage because of the enfeebles that it gets, because of the way that it would fit in the party alongside of all the other party members. It might be better to dedicate that spot to a ninja that can do the same thing as the red mage and not take the red mage along. So in some cases, the only enfeebling magic you have in your party is from the ninja, which is interesting if you think about it, because that means ninjutsu is actually pretty relevant. And it is. A lot of ninjas will tell you that ninjutsu is actually really relevant. They have a lot of ninja tools on them, and they use them quite often. And so I'm not a main ninja by any means, but I have a good amount of ninja stuff done. I feel like all the JSEs are going to be good for this job, pretty much for more stuff that I can even imagine. Other than that, Herculean is probably going to get you there on DPS. SR drops, like Loyalist Sabatons, for example, is going to be pretty strong for multi-hit. So yeah, Herculean, SR, things like that, really, really good. Ambuscade's probably really good for this job as well. I'm sure there's some drops from Ambuscade that are better than most of the Herculean stuff I have, like this Moo Jacket +2 body. It's probably really strong on Ninja. But you know, you could probably tailor up a Herculean vest that's even better if you want. Just depends on how much time you have and how much luck you have, basically. For katanas, well, let's stop talking about gear for a moment and look at the merits really quick for ninja. So I went with 1 on everything, pretty much. I feel like that's the way to go. 1 on everything, and because there's so many choices. 1 everything, and then extra points in whatever you think is the most important. So, in this one I was just like, I don't really want to have to dedicate much time to rebuying tools, so I'll just do tools. But I do think that some of these other ones might be better, especially if you're actually spamming them more often. But I don't know. I feel like this looks like a lot similar to a lot of ninjas out there. We'll probably do something like this. A subtle blow is really strong, much more strong on ninja than almost every other job, honestly, because ninja is going to be hitting a lot, much faster than most every other job in the game. And they're going to be feeding TP otherwise. So having the subtle blow effect natively in the merit chart is going to be really strong for you. So I would recommend you getting some subtle blow on ninja. It's going to definitely stop you from getting your face wrecked by a bunch of spamming TP moves that the boss does on you as a result of you feeding it TP. Alright? Now some of the katanas that I have in my collection, obviously none of them are ultimate. But we'll look at them, regardless. So there's this, Midgen. It's not a bad choice for 119 you can get. I think it's an Escher drop. We have, oh look, another drop from, what was this? I think this is a Reason Jima drop for Dark Knight that I left out. And Warrior Axe. Oh well, just stuff that you can get. I think this is SR. Probably SR. Anyway, so we have that katana for ninja, Midgen. It's kind of meh. I think it excels with the immediate evasion. So if you really need high evasion, this is probably the offhand that you're going to use. Let's see what else we got. Okay. Check this box. I saw him in here earlier. Maybe I'm actually carrying it on me. That's crazy. Ah, here we go. Okay. So Ochus are really good. I think that's one of the more popular choices. Ochu, it's a Sinister Rain. Really strong. Also has extra ninjutsu skill on it, so you could stack that in the offhand as well. That's going to really help you with your elemental wheel spam and your enfeebles. In addition to that, you have Aizu Shintogo, which is basically, it looks kind of like an offhand weapon to me because it has dual wield on it. And it has the extra effect with the Utsusumi shadows on it, which is pretty interesting. Pretty interesting piece of gear here. I don't use it that much. It seems to be weaker than a lot of other choices, and it seems to me, from what I have access to, it seems to me that it's kind of an offhand piece, but I have a better offhand piece anyway that I like to use, and it doesn't seem to be better in the main hand than like Ochu, so I don't even really use this all that often. But in the offhand, I like this. This is a Vagary drop. This is probably my favorite offhand for Ninja. That's non-ultimate. And it's just really, really strong, really fast, really low delay, low damage, but a lot of spam and a lot of accuracy on it, which helps you in your main hand as well. Okay? So even having this in the offhand, your main hand gets the extra accuracy 34. So, because it stacks on your character sheet, all the accuracy stacks, and it affects both your weapons. So you can offhand this guy, and it doesn't even matter that the low damage is on it, because you have a better main dagger or a main katana that you can use. And the DPS is just crazy with this. I calculated it once, and I was just like, wow, the offhand Achiuchi Kapu is probably the best offhand that I have access to. And I have like 5 or 6 different katanas, including these Canarias here. Alright? And the Canarias are also pretty good. So you can pick up some Canarias. So this is kind of your pool of weapons. Ochu, Aizu, Achiu, and Canaria, basically, are going to be like your go-tos when you're looking for really cheap, easy-to-get katanas that are 119. That's going to be it. Other than that, you're going to want to obviously focus on your ultimates. And from my experience, I think a lot of people go with the Aeonic katana just because it's easiest to get for them. When they're looking at ninja weapons that are ultimate, they just go with the Aeonic katana. I don't see too many ninjas out there lately, but most of the ninjas that I do see happen to have the Aeonic done and something else. So I would have to say then that the Aeonic's the more popular choice. Alright? But you can get whatever it is that you want to get for the job. I'm sure a ninja main will want to get all of them. Just like most of the other jobs I mentioned, you would probably want to get the whole collection if that's your main job. And of course, they could probably tell you more about this job than I can. But with that, I'm probably going to move on a little bit. Just know that you still have the same kind of armor pool that you get everywhere else. Ambuscade, SR, these sorts of things, JSEs. And the same kind of thing goes with the ultimate weapons. And the non-ultimate weapons. So let's move to Dragoon. Dragoon's interesting. It's an interesting job. It's kind of utility. It's got some tricks that a lot of other jobs don't have with its job traits and its job abilities. Pretty good tricks that it has. Let's look to see how I actually merited this job. So this job I went kind of 1 point everywhere, just like I did on most of the others. But in this case, I didn't actually merit Ancient Circle. I felt like it wasn't really that important. Most of the dragon fights that I went to, I did not go as a Dragoon anyway, so it would have helped me to have this. It's never been relevant. Jump recast has always been relevant, so I like 5 there. And the high jump and the super jump recast, might as well. I mean, they're all recasts. Everything in Group 1 is a recast, so you've got to put a recast on something. I feel like this is the way that a lot of players are probably doing it. Just affecting the jumps. Because the jumps are your TP. They kind of cheat you a bunch of TP into your TP bar, so you can just weapon skill much earlier than you should be able to, and that's kind of the hidden trick with the Dragoon, is the jumps to cheat TPs on your guy, so you can skill chain. And then in Group 2, it looks like this is how I did it. I'm not sure I like it this way, but I feel like Deep Breathing is a popular choice for a lot of Dragoons. I feel like Engon is a less popular choice, because it's kind of a joke when you size it up to Tomahawk. Most people are like, when they think of using an accessory that was added to the game late, that a melee DPS would be able to use to weaken a monster, the first thing that typically comes to mind is the Tomahawk that the warrior gets. But they also, in the same patch, they got Engon for Dragoon. So it's kind of like the same exact thing, but I don't know why people seem to think Tomahawk's more popular than Engon. But whatever the case may be, I put 1 point into Engon here. I wasn't sure if I would need to 5 with this or not, but I don't play the job enough to really care too much about that. And these other two I just put at 2 because I kind of felt like it was, I didn't really know what to do with the rest of the points, and I haven't played it enough to really convince myself that this is wrong. So I feel like this is okay. Just leave some comments if you think that there's a better way to do this. So that's it for the Dragoon merits. Now for the gear choices, it's pretty basic. It's a very tanky job, like Paladin, so your accessories are pretty much all HP, all accuracy when you're engaged, DT minus, things like that. Same kind of accessories, pretty much. Carbon Cruces are on this job. Ambuscade pieces are still good on this job. All the Ambuscade stuff. Alright, Moonbeam Cape. Okay. So there's just a lot of stuff that's just overall good. You get the Founder set from Sinister Reign as well. So it's kind of tanky. So you got a lot of different pieces of gear at your disposal on this job. The JSEs are probably the more popular ones now, especially with the +3s coming out. You're probably going to be doing a lot more damage with the +3 JSEs than you will with the Ambuscade +2s and things of that nature. So that's something to consider. For weapons, I mean, this is a basic 119 polearm right here. This is a basic one. I use this on Warrior in Abyssy. It's one of my polearms for Warrior, so I can get procs with polearm without bringing a Dragoon along. So you can see that this halberd is used by Warrior, Paladin, Samurai, and Dragoon. Obviously, since it's not only a Dragoon weapon, it's probably weaker than the Dragoon-specific weapons that the game has, but that's fine. I don't use it for Dragoon. I'm just pointing it out that this is one 119 Dragoon weapon. It's not a good one. It's actually a pretty shit one, okay? But I use it on Warrior, alright? That's why I have it. So why am I pointing that out? Because you need to see the difference between that and this next one that I'm about to show you, which is just insane. If I can find it again. Where is it? I don't know where it went. I don't even remember what it's called. Did I pass it? I must have passed it. No, it's not Delphinus, even though that's a really good lock style. Same with Tinkomaru. There's that Calibog I'm working on. Damn, dude, where'd it go? It's hiding. It's hiding, you guys. Oh my god, it's hiding so good. There it is. Habile Mazrak. Okay. So this is a really difficult item to get for the average player. It's sheer luck that I got mine. People are still trying to get theirs. This is an amazing polearm. It might as well be an ultimate weapon, but it's not an ultimate weapon because it doesn't have the 269 polearm skill that the ultimate weapon does. Or the parrying skill that the ultimate weapon does. It has the 242. So in that regard, it's weaker than an ultimate weapon. But for like next to no money, that is an insane polearm right there. 300 damage, 492 delay, 36 accuracy, 34 attack. Some magic accuracy skill on it for whatever reason. I'm sure that's relevant. Enmity minus, who cares? Store TP 8, that's pretty good, right? Dragon Killer 20, that's pretty good. Critical hit rate 5, that's pretty fucking good. But the fact that it has 300 damage on it is pretty sick, you guys. I like that. Other than ultimates, I think this is probably your best polearm in the whole game. I think this is the best polearm in the whole game that's non-ultimate. At least that's what people have been telling me. And it seems to be the popular choice for polearms that are non-ultimate on most of the top tier players. So I like it. Definitely I like it. You can see how it's different from the other one. Quite better than this other little piece of trash halberd that I have here. Right? But it's still 119 item level. It's the same item level. But it's just so much better. So, other than that, if you wanted to get like an ultimate weapon for Dragoon, you could get... What are some of the popular ones? Gungnir? is a popular one. I want to say that that's actually the mythic, though. I think it is Gungnir. I'm not 100% sure if it's the mythic, but Gungnir is pretty popular choice. A lot of people are getting that. Maybe even an Ionic. I don't even know. I don't even know, you guys. I think Gungnir is the more popular choice, though, and Habal Mazrak is the non-ultimate popular choice. So I don't have too much more information about Dragoon to actually help anyone, so I guess we can move on. Go to the next job. Summoner. Alright, well, Summoner is interesting. Summoner is one of those jobs where, like, you're never really done building Summoner. When you're building a Summoner, let's see here. You have so many different ways to play this job depending on what pet you're trying to bring to the party. So there's a lot of different sets of gear that you would need to use. I have very few of them done on my Summoner, but I have a pretty good knowledge base of the job. Things that are kind of overlooked. Like, you know, for example, there's this fast cast staff here that you could use that would help you in some way, shape, or form on Summoner and on all the jobs that can equip that, which I haven't really talked about, but that's just one little thing. So depending on how much gear you have access to, you might have different sets of equipment for different things on this job, just like all the other jobs, obviously. And I don't really think I'm carrying too much gear on me for Summoner, but this is one of the jobs where I feel like most of the gear that's good is actually JSE. It's not actually any ambuscade stuff, really. I mean, most people I see playing Summoner, doing their crazy level 150 helm fights, they're typically using JSEs. For most everything that they have equipped is a JSE of some kind. Plus 3 probably from Omen, or from the new Dynamis Divergent stuff. Things like this. And that's what they rock. And they're usually using a Was or a Nirvana for their staff. Well, I mean, I'm still working on my Nirvana, so it's not done, so I can't obviously use it. So what I have in place of that, for the time being, which is what I would recommend everyone else get for the time being, if they don't have the Nirvana done, that would be the Espiritus. I feel like this is the go-to staff if you don't have Nirvana done. You just get an Espiritus, you go one path for a magic attack bonus, and the other path for physical, okay? And so you have 2 Espirituses, and you've got everything covered if you do that. And that's what I would recommend people do for Summoner until they get their Nirvana done, or they get their Was, and then they can just do that. Eventually I'll retire those and just use the Nirvana once the Nirvana's done. And I'll probably just have mostly JSE done on the 5 slots, armor slots. I'll probably just be rocking out some sort of ambuscade cape with some random assortment of augments on it, and I'll probably be rocking out some random accessories, you know, I don't know, something. I'm not even sure. I do like these Varar rings for Summoner specifically. I do like them. You should get 2, but most of the accessories are kind of going to be tailored towards your pet job in some way, or they're going to be macroed in for some other sort of thing that you have, right? But there's just a lot of stuff that you could get for the job that I'm still missing. Like, there's a better Empath necklace now that you can get from, I want to say Omen. It's just better than this that you can get. So just a lot of different things. Merlinic is good for this job. It's another thing that people overlook. Inyanga's also good from Ambuscade. But Merlinic's actually pretty good. Let me find a piece of Merlinic that I think is particularly good on this job. I might not have it on me. Yeah, it's not that one. It might be the feet. I wanted to say it was the hands, though. Yeah, I'm pretty confident it's actually the hands. But I don't see it here, so it's obviously somewhere else, my Merlinic. But anyway, the Merlinic hands has like a actual blood pack damage on it or something like that, so it's actually pretty good, pretty strong for Summoner to do stuff like that. Right? I think that covers everything for Summoner, doesn't it? Yeah? Did we go over this? We didn't go over this yet. Okay. So here are your merits for this job. You can kind of see I just went 1 on everything. But in the first group, I actually put more emphasis on attack, and I put more emphasis on magic cast time, summoning magic cast time. Now, this is probably going to look different for everyone, and I could probably change this. Maybe put more physical accuracy and magical accuracy on it, something like that. That might actually be worth my my time investing in that small change for like high-end content. I'm not even sure, but I will be using Summoner for high-end content, pretty much only Helm fights. So I need to actually figure out how to merit this guy for Helm fights, and that's how I would want to do it for me. I mean, you guys will probably all be different. And, you know, for this one, it's just like a point in everything and then max something out. Seems good. I don't know. Leave some comments. Let me know what you would do with those merits. But yeah, I mean, there's not much to say. Summoner's kind of a basic bandwagon cookie cutter job. You get your Nirvana, you get your JSEs done, and you kind of rock it out, and you hope for the best. And you get a whole lot of luck, and then you win your content. For the low, low price of going to Abyssy and getting your 2 hour back, which is now a 1 hour, which is still not fast enough. So they had to master the job to get it to 45 minutes, which is still not fast enough. So I spend all my days in Abyssy getting myself a revitalizer, right? Because I need more SPs. Let's move to Blue Mage. This is gonna be a joke, you guys. My Blue Mage sucks. I'm not gonna lie. There's a lot of things that I haven't done on Blue Mage, like all of it, basically. But I will show you what I have done as a fresh 119. I have a merit chart done for Blue Mage, and this is what I went with. Physical potency and magic accuracy. I don't know. Kind of went with that. And then on the bottom here, I went with like 1 in everything and then a few extra points on diffusion and assimilation, basically. So that's probably close to something that most players that play blue will actually use. For gear choices, I mean, Herculean seems the way to go. So I got a lot of Herculean, right? Mostly quad attack stuff. I know that most Beastmaster, most Blue Mages need a magic attack bonus set as well, which you could augment Herculean to be just that. So you could do that as well, and that would be pretty strong for your Blue Mage if you had a Herc set with like 40 or 50 magic attack bonus on every piece. That would be pretty strong. And you could do that with Dark Magic, Dark Matter Augs. Other than that, like for blue, there's probably a lot of good JSEs that I just don't have. There's probably some good ambuscade stuff, like good example, like the refresh stuff. Jackery pieces would be pretty good. You have your weapon skill Jackery piece as well that you could get, that you probably use as well. You've got some fast cast Ayanmos, some store TP Jackeries. Like ambuscade in general has a lot of good picks. Sinister Rain has the dampening tam you're gonna need for most of the jobs that can use it, right? And you can go all Amalric on blue. There's just a lot of gear that blue has access to that I could talk about, so it's really difficult to stick to just a few different sets. Colladas are really good on blue, simply because you can augment them so many different ways. Eventually, though, you're going to get a Tizona. Tizona is probably the single best sword for Blue Mage that you can get. Most people are using Tizona in the main hand, and in the offhand, they're actually using Almace. So they'll be using Tizona and Almace, and that'll be their Blue Mage, basically. And that's the best way to play Blue Mage that anyone has come up with. They don't even sub-sequence, even. It's mostly Tizona and Almace. So that's interesting, that Almace is so much better than sequence in mostly every situation, right? Other than that, what else can I tell you about Blue Mage? I can tell you that Blue Mage is a pain in the dick to farm spells for. Lots of time and effort getting all the spells. Lots of quests that you need to do to get to battlefield content like Shinryu to get Mighty Guard, for example. Lots of time and effort and headaches getting your Blue Mage up to par, up to snuff. You see what I'm saying? So, I'm not there, so I'm going to stop here on Blue Mage and move on to another job that I'm a little bit more comfortable talking about. Corsair. So I have a Master Corsair. Master Corsair. My Corsair is not using the new Superior 3 sword that everyone's getting, the Hepatazon Sapara, even though I should, because it's really strong. But that's because I spent so much time getting Fettering Blade that I'm gonna use it until the wheels fall off. Okay, like that. I'm destined to always have Feathering Blade, no matter how much better Hepatizen Spara becomes. Anyway, so I have the Feathering Blade here. Nusku Shield from Omen, really strong. Death Penalty, Mythic Weapon, really strong. It comes with its own ammo. Living Bullet, also really strong. So yeah, eventually we'll get all of the guns. So I'll have the Fomalhaut as well, and then from there I'll get the other 2 or 3 or however many there are. I already have the Attack Toast done. All right, that's the easy one, and that's really good for Savage Blade in case anyone's wondering. It makes your Savage Blade insane on Corsair. Corsair Savage Blades are nuts, which is another reason why people are getting the Hepatizen Spara now, because it's just more basic damage than the Feathering Blade. So Savage Blades are that much stronger with the Hepatizen Spara, so I'll probably eventually buckle and go get one. In general, yeah, you're using kind of the same stuff in the accessories. The Karmakuses for movement, a whole bunch of different accessories on your guy. You're using some number of Ambuscade Capes here. You can see I have 4 of them. Weapon skill damage in mind for Savage Blade. Accuracy and attack, obviously. Agility, ranged accuracy, ranged attack, and snapshot for shooting. This one is for whenever I'm dual wielding and I'm trying to DPS. I'm going to use Dex, Accuracy 30, Attack, Dual Wield, and Damage Taken minus. I could do parrying, but I find myself not pulling hate that much on Corsair, so I went with DT minus instead. Like the Thief I did parrying on instead of the DT minus. So, and then my last one is my actual Lead and Salute cape. It's Agility 30, Magic Attack 10, Magic Accuracy, and Magic Damage. And that's it. And so those are the 4 I've done so far. I feel like those are the best 4 you can come up with. There's probably a few more that you could make, though, that other people have probably made that they're really happy with, but I'm very happy with the 4 that I've made. And I'm sure there's a lot of JSE that you can get, but honestly, I play Corsair exclusively with Herculean gear and Ambuscade gear, Sinister Rain gear, and that's basically it. And I have no problem with that. I don't have like any Corsair stuff pretty much. I mean, I have the Laxamana's Gantz, and I have Laxamana's headpiece +3, but I rarely use this. I do have it though, it's there. And I think I have the feet as well. Yeah, Laxamana boots +2. So I could make those +3 one day, or something. So I mean, I have some JSE, I rarely use it. I don't know why. I'm a scrub, that's probably why. But yeah, so that's all I really got to say about gear for this job. Like, I'm showing you kind of the best stuff, really. Like, death penalty set, and then another death penalty set, and then another death penalty set, and call it a day. And get yourself a set for your Fomalhaut, and call it a day. Get yourself a Savage Blade set with a better sword than this, and call it a day. This is my death penalty sword, you guys. This is for Lead and Salute. This isn't for Savage Blade, but I use it with Savage Blade. But I should be using the other one, honestly. It's not the right time to get the other one yet. Not quite. So let's look at the merits before we move on. So here I go. Phantom Roll recast is very important because you don't get very many opportunities to have the Phantom Roll rolls cost less time to recast. I'm sure there's some JSEs that you could get, but I just haven't gotten them, or I don't use them. I don't know. But I like this at 5. I like the Quick Draw recast at 5. I want to be able to spam this stuff as much as possible. That's what I do as a Corsair. I spam the rolls, I spam the draws. Okay? So everything else is kind of not even that relevant. But I will tell you that I had a different loadout before, and I really liked Snake Eye when it was at 5. I really liked Snake Eye when it was at 5, but it's not at 5 right now. Okay? So I'm having trouble getting it at 5, but I really liked it at 5. Okay? And that's in the second category. I think it's fair we could move to the second category now, because the first category, that seems good right there, 5 and 5. So in the second category, I want at least 1 point in Fold, because you definitely need the opportunity to use Fold in the event that you get a really bad unlucky roll. You can just simply Fold. Whenever you need to quickly change rolls, you can just do that with Fold. You can take the roll off, you can redo it, you could just fold a bust and get your chance to put a second roll back up right away, because it removes the bust effect as well. It's just really strong, okay? So you definitely need at least 1. Snake Eye is really strong as well, so you need higher than 1 on Snake Eye, period. You just want to do that, trust me. Winning streak, you can give into peer pressure and make this 5, but I don't think it needs to be that high. It could go lower for Snake Eye going up if you want. So you could reduce this to 4 and go 3 on Snake Eye, or something like that. Loaded deck, I like loaded deck at 2. It's pretty okay. That's pretty okay. But when it was at 3 or even 4 or 5, I noticed that I was actually getting a better use out of it every single time. Every single time I would do random deal, I would get a better random deal when I had more points in this. Obviously, that's how it works. But it was actually noticeable, quite noticeable, okay? But I really liked the Snake Eye, because I could be at like 6. When I had 5/5 Snake Eye, I could be at like 6, and I'd be like, okay, Snake Eye, double up, 11. Like, straight up 11. Like, it doesn't even matter. Every fucking time. It was just like 11 out of 11. It was 11 times in a row. Like, are you serious? This is crazy. It's very strong. And that's it for Corsair. Boom, boom, boom. I'll aim at you, so you can see my gun. Yeah. And let's move on to another job. Let's move on to Puppetmaster. I just started this. This is a fresh 119 pup. I think I did actually pick up the actual thingy-majig that you use. I don't know where it is. Pretty sure it is actually a main hand, or I think it's a range, not an ammo. But wherever it is, maybe it's somewhere. I don't know. But it's an animator. It's animator P, I think, or whatever. I think I just spent like 8 mil on one, and I don't know where I put it. I just bought it because I knew I would need it eventually, and I put it somewhere. Yeah, animator P+1. Okay, it's in the case. Alright, so I will show you, I think, what everyone's most popular choice is. This is as important on Puppetmaster as Nirvana is on Summoner, okay? So let's get to it. Notice that it's not Superior 3, but it's still like the best thing to get, okay? So I don't know what's up with that. So anyway, animator P+1. Nice. Okay? Really nice. 119 automaton, busted stats extra on the automaton. I like it, okay? Then you get to use all of the other tricks that the Puppetmaster is known for, like all of them, basically. Okay? So for gear, on Pup, I would say you probably want a lot of JSEs on Pup before anything else, but note that you can actually get the Herculean gear on this job, which is super duper good, and you can put pet dogs on it if you want, and that would help you a lot, actually. It's just unfortunate that I can't use my Valor set because it's already augmented with pet stuff, so that'd be pretty clutch, but that's fine. So yeah, JSEs, Herculean, Ambuscade could probably get you there as well on those. Accessories, if you have all of them already, you just kind of mix and match until you get what you need. Alright, and for Knuckles, I'm using one of the better non-ultimate Knuckles that I think is out, which is called the Nomints. This is a pretty good puppet masterpiece right here. I do like it. It even has an automaton ability on it, so I like to use this on Puppetmaster. I'll probably be using just this on Puppetmaster for a long time. I don't know what else I would use. That's one of a few different 119 pieces that I think is really strong that you could use. And since I'm new at Puppetmaster, I don't want to spend too much time talking about what I think you should do, because I'm pretty new at the job. But I will show you like what I've done so far. So I have all the heads. Here are all of them. You start with a Harlequin, and then you get the Valor Edge and the Sharpshot, and then you get the Stormwaker, and then you get the Soul Soother and the Spirit Reaver. And once you've quested all of them, which you need to do, it's very important, you can do all these different loadouts with all these different frames. And I actually bought all of the different, what do you call them, attuners, or whatever the fuck these are called. All these attachments for Puppetmaster. So this is every attachment in the whole game that you're able to get. I'm pretty sure I've got 100% of them done, as of recently. And they're all pretty good. They're all pretty interesting. And you can do all sorts of different stuff to make your guy stronger or weaker, or, you know, doing different things with different frames and different heads. It's just pretty interesting. I'm glad that you're able to get all the attachments from Nashma now. That's pretty good. Pretty cool. Quite cool. Alright. And I think that's going to be all I talk about with the Puppetmaster. I guess I could show these really quick before I change. So these are the way I merited the job. I mean, I feel like 5 out of 5 skills would be pretty good. 4 out of 5's not bad. But I think 5 out of 5 would be pretty good. We could probably lower this repair and max out the skills. I think that would actually be better after having thought about it. Do something like this. That would be pretty good. Yeah. Yeah, and then category 2. I feel like this is also pretty good. And I guess that's it for Puppetmaster. I mean, I don't have enough experience with this job to really talk your ear off about it. But you know, you just gotta get there. You gotta get all the automaton attachments. You gotta get some gear sets, mostly JSEs, and master that job, basically. And then you'll just be a boss. Basically. I mean, I already have the animator P+1, so like, once I get Superior 2, I can just equip that, get some JSE stuff done, and then after that, it's like high-end Puppetmaster. Once I get the mechanics worked out, I'll pretty much be done, right? I do need to actually work on the skills of the job, though. You can see here that the Puppetmaster, you can't actually see it, but the Puppetmaster, when the puppet is deployed, it also has its own skills, and you have to use the puppet to actually skill the puppet up. And since I actually power leveled my Puppetmaster, I had it power leveled, I'll admit, the automaton skills are really low, so I do need to work on grinding them up to cap them out, and then I'll be at that point where I could actually play it in high-end content, probably. So let's go to the next job on the list. We're getting quite done. That's Dancer. This is another job I just don't play all that much, but I'll start by showing you the merits that I chose. So I went with this. Basically, Haste Samba effect 5. I don't know. I like Haste Samba. Probably want to max out the reverse flourish effect, though. Probably really strong on this job. I don't play it enough to really know one way or the other, but I feel like this is pretty good. I do think reverse flourish is really strong, though. And then on the second one, I kind of like this one, the way it is. Seems like all the popular abilities are merited higher than the lesser popular abilities that I see from other dancers. So I like this. This is pretty good. And for gear, I mean, dancers use daggers. You want a Twashtar probably. Maybe even a Terpsichore for your dancer, which would be pretty strong. So I'm working on a Twashtar at the moment. I don't think I'll get the Terp done. So I probably won't ever really play this job. I'm pretty sure I actually had this job power leveled as well. There's a lot of JSEs for this job that make it particularly useful in content, in high-end content, especially in Ambuscade and such. So if you're going to play this job, you probably want to get all the JSEs for it to make it as strong as possible. And you probably want to get your Twashtar and your Terpsichore done. And then you could probably rock this job out and be quite good at it. You're probably going to want some number of Ambuscade capes, which I have none at the moment. No Ambuscade capes for this job. Other than that, other pieces of gear that you can wear that's 119 that's not JSE, you can get your Ambuscade stuff, just like Thief. You could wear the same stuff. Use Sinister Rain stuff that the Thief can also wear. Your Herculean stuff that the Thief can also wear. All this stuff is equipable by Dancer. If you need a tank, you've got some tank options, which also are equipable by Thief. That's the only reason I have it, really. Because I play a lot of Thief. And your Rawhide for your refresh if you need to, which is also equipable by a Thief, because sometimes I'll sub White Mage. So there's just a lot of stuff that share the same kind of jobs as other jobs that you're already playing in most cases. So I can just kind of piggyback off this gear choice instead of getting the JSEs and save some inventory space in the process. And so that's what I've been doing. So that's kind of my Dancer in a nutshell. If I was more serious about it, I would get the JSEs though, because they are quite good at what they do. I think that's it for Dancer. We talked about everything. And Scholar. Boom. Here we are with the Scholar. Now, I play a lot of Scholar as well. I'm not Mastered. I'm not even Superior 3 yet. I'm still Superior 2, but I do play a lot of Scholar. A lot of Scholar. Do a lot of content with Scholar, and I'm not even Mastered with him. This job is just really strong in general. No, even at fresh 119, it's really strong. It honestly doesn't even need 119. It could be a fresh 117 with Sparks gear and be like super duper good in comparison to a lot of other jobs that are fresh 117 with Sparks gear. Okay? So my point is that Scholar is a lot of fun. I have quite a bit of fun with this job. I think Academos is a really strong non-ultimate weapon, which might as well be an ultimate weapon. Quite easy to get. Very, very useful on the job. Okay. On top of that, you have Quranic gear you could use on this job. I think you also get Merlinic. Could be wrong on that. The Merlinic? Maybe you don't get Merlinic. Oh yeah, you do get Merlinic. That's right. Okay, yeah, I thought so. Okay, so yeah, Quranics, Merlinics, you can get both of them just like Red Mage. Just like, yeah, just like Red Mage. And then your Jock reset. You can get that. Your Inyanga set, I think, as well. Is the other one? No, it's not Inyanga. It's Jokri and, ooh, what's the other one? I don't remember. Oh, it's not really that relevant then, I guess. Oh, Malkeith, that's right. Okay, yeah, just like Black Mage, okay. Alright, so Scholar's kind of a lot like Black Mage. So if you got a lot of Black Mage stuff, you probably have a lot of Scholar stuff as well. And vice versa. And so I already showed you I had a Lathy, and I have an Academos as well. So, you know, Lathy for Black Mage, bunch of Ambuscade Black Mage gear, bunch of SR Black Mage gear, bunch of high-end content Black Mage gear, and then Academos for Scholar. Same ditto, basically ditto. All the same stuff. And that's pretty handy. All the accessories are pretty much the same as well. Grip doesn't seem to even really matter on this job. Like, this job's just kind of nuts and real easy and cheap to play. And you don't need anything like Ultimate Weapon, but if you were going to get an Ultimate Weapon, I would say that your best Ultimate Weapon is your Tupsipati, or however you pronounce that, which I believe is your Mythic for the job. I think that that's the strongest one that you can get, and that's probably the only one I would get. If I were to get an Ultimate for Scholar, it would be that one. I might eventually get an Aeonic for the job, I don't know. But you get the idea. Like, Academos is really strong. It's strong enough. It gets you there. It gets the job done. And all the other gear choices is just, it's really nice. I think I showed the merits already, didn't I? Nope, I didn't. So let's go ahead and do that now. So we've got 5/5 Modus Veritas duration, 5/5 Helix magic accuracy and attack. I like it. I do like it. Max sublimation is okay, but there's so many other ways to get mana that you don't really care about that. The Grimoire recast is not really that relevant because you usually stay in either light arts mode or dark arts mode for a long duration. So you're never really waiting for the cooldown before you can change between the two. And if you really have to change between the two really quick, you can simply use Enlightenment, which is right here, which is why I have 1 point in it. And it basically says you could use the other Grimoire instead. Like, for the next spell, you can do any of the 2 Grimoires you want. Like, that's super good. So alongside of Enlightenment, the Grimoire recast is just a waste of time. It's useless. It's absolutely useless. So people aren't really going to actually put any points in that anymore because they have Enlightenment. I only have 1 point here, and it's good enough. So in this category, I kind of did 1 everywhere, but then I just did a 5 here on the Storm Surge. I wanted to make sure my storms were as strong as possible. I do help party members with storms as well, so there you go. Now, the generating less enmity I didn't think was that important, so I decided to not put points in these 2. Light and Dark Art stratagem bonuses that they have. I didn't think they were that good. Now, Altruism and Focalization, I did put them in because I like the fact that I can put accuracy on my Scholar. I think that's really strong. Alright? So alongside of Storm Surge and Enlightenment, I have these 2 stratagems right here. And that's it. More emphasis on the Focalization for the accuracy of the Black Mage spell. And that's basically how I merited this guy. And I feel like after having tested this job quite a bit and tested the shit out of this job with those particular merits, I really like the way those merits actually come out. There's not too many other jobs that I'm very happy with the merits. Like Corsair, I wish I had other stuff all the time because they're all super duper good, but I can't have them all the time. But Scholar, I don't need them all. The ones that I need, I already have. So I'm very happy with the way that I merited this guy, and I would recommend those merits for sure. I think that's it for Scholar. Talked about just about everything for the gear choices. Academos. Spells are important, but this video is not about spells. It's about gear! So let's change to the next job. I don't know why I keep going to the wrong menu. Change job. Let's go to Geomancer. Hooray! Alright, so we're here. So this is Geomancer. This is what everybody came to see, right? So I'm not a main Geomancer, and I don't have an Idris. So you probably didn't click on this video to check out my Geomancer. But I have a good amount of Geomancer stuff done, alright? For example, I have the Dunna done. I think that's a very important Oboro piece that you get from Oboro and Port Juno. You should get this. Dunna's really good. I have it done. It's completely done, and I'm very happy with it. Alright? I have some pretty good shields at my disposal. Same with Red Mage, I have the same 3 really good shields. Okay? Great. I have a Solstice, so I have a club that's specifically designed for Geomancer that's done. I could probably make another Solstice and go a different path if I wanted to, but that's inventory space, right? So I like this the way it is. You can also get a Nibiru Cudgel right here if you're curing. This is really strong. This is also good on Blue Mage. It's the best magic attack bonus that you can get on Blue Mage, matter of fact. You just go the magic attack bonus path and you get the Nibiru Cudgel. But I did mine for curing, so that's why it's actually like this. And I think it's pretty strong, and it definitely helps Geomancer out since they don't have that much potential as a healer. You having the Nibiru Cudgel is going to help you out a lot, especially with the cure path on it, right? So that's about it for clubs. Did we do merits yet? Let's move on to merits. Merits. So, kind of 1 point everywhere. Primeval Zeal. I was like, huh, when I looked at this, and I was like, no, I don't want it. So I didn't do it. So I did Mending Halation, Radial Arcana, Curative Recantation. I honestly don't think any of this stuff really matters. It's just kind of meh. I feel that way about it still after having played this job quite a bit. The first category I think is a little bit more acceptable and reasonable, like why I made all these choices. Makes a little bit more sense than the second category. But this Primeval Zeal just keeps throwing me off. I mean, what is that even? So the full circle effect, okay, some points there. Ecliptic Attrition, Life Cycle Recast, sure. I like Life Cycle, it's pretty strong on this job. Blaze of Glory Recast and Dematerialize Recast. Might as well put a point there. I mean, you could go zeros if you wanted to. I don't know. I think there's so many ways to play Geo and none of them are relevant, like none of them actually matter. Because the job's already busted without merits, right? So, leave your comments to yourself about how you merit your Geo, because I don't care. On this job in particular. Now, I do get the Bark Roll Earring for this job, so of course I'm using it. You get a lot of pretty good accessories. Mizukage is another good one that you get for magic burst damage. You can use the Merlinic stuff with magic burst augs. Makes it quite strong. You have the Geomancy sandals for movement speed. Not bad. If it's a +3, it gets the movement speed 18, which everyone's looking for. You have Jock Reset that you could equip. You have Amalric set. This is all the kind of basic same stuff that I talked about before. Got some SR gear that you could use. More Merlinics Telcheens if you need to. And more stuff from Vagary. So basically, if you take anything from this video, just know that you need to spam Vagary, Sinister Rain, and Ambuscade, and you get pretty much all the gear free for all of your jobs that you need in the whole entire game, basically. Now, I'm sure there's a pretty good cape. Yeah, right here, Nantus Weltas. So this is a pretty solid choice for Geo. If you're trying to burst down stuff, then this is probably the Augs you would go with. I'm sure there's other capes you could design that actually help the pet stay alive, the bubble stay alive, that you could get. But I haven't really invested that much time and effort into the job, so I just go with that. I just go with this simple one right here, and I'm happy with that. That's probably about it for this job. Not much else to say. There's a lot of gear choices that need to be made. I will make one comment about the JSE, that you definitely need to get the JSE on this job. Most jobs you could probably play without the JSE. This is not one of those jobs. I'll give you an example of why. If you look at my stats right now for my magic skill, you can tell that I have 402 geomancy skill and 425 handbell skill. If you sum those, it's not anywhere close to 900. Okay? The reason why that's a problem is because you need around 880 or higher combined geomancy and handbell skill to maximize the bubbles that you're actually placing. So if you're maximizing their potency on your party members or on the enemy, you have to have around 880 or more of these. So 440 each, okay, would get you there. Sure, alright. So let's say you are a 900 geo. That means you basically have the criteria met. You have the 900 skill, you're good. But what helps you get to that 900 skill? I'll show you some pieces of gear that can help you get to that 900 skill that you're looking for. This is the important stuff that you're going to want to try to grab on this job. The first one is going to be quite easy to get. You go to the auction house and you buy 2 Stakini rings. That's going to get you there, because that has all skills plus 5 on it. That means for Geomancer that's 10 a piece, because you get 5 handbell, 5 geo skill. Other things that do that: Incanter's Torque, magic skills plus 10. That's a plus 20 for you because it's handbell and it's in Geomancy as well. You have other pieces of body gear that you can wear as well. I'm trying to do this all from memory, so bear with me. I probably don't have everything on me at the moment. But basically, there's like one piece of JSE for every slot that you can use. Let me pull up a list really quick, and I'll just name off all of the JSEs that are on the list that you would want to get for this particular set of gear to actually augment your bubbles to actually be the best bubbles that they're capable of being. Okay? I'll tell you all the pieces of gear that you need for that such set. Alright. Okay, so if you're casting a Geomancy spell or an Indie spell, you're going to need an Azimuth Hood, preferably +1 or higher. You're going to need a Bagua Tunic, preferably +1 or higher. You're going to need Geomancy Mitaines, +1 or higher. That's the gloves. You're going to need Bagua Pants, +1 or higher. You're going to need Azimuth Gaiters. That's the feet, +1 or higher. You're going to need Incanter's Torque, which I talked about. Austerity Belt, which is your waist, +1 preferably. You're going to need some earrings, probably some tank earrings, because there are no all skills earrings yet. And you're going to need your Stakini rings. You're also going to need your Nantos Welta's cape. And that's basically the whole list. Basically everything you need for your Geomancy spells. And I think that's about it for this job. Get yourself an Idris and you won't regret it. So let's move on. Take a moment to change the song really quick. Let's go ahead and change to the next job on the list, which is the last job on the list, Rune Fencer. Alright. So Rune Fencer has an Aeonic. Mine does. Before I had an Aeonic, which was Lionheart, I had Zulfikar. Zulfikar's really strong, great sword. I think it's actually in storage at the moment, but I'll show you my Zulfikar really quick. Inventory. Interesting, I didn't see it in my inventory. Ah, here it is. Okay. So this one has a quad attack 2 augment on it and a damage plus 19, which is pretty strong. I really do like this, but I think it could be better. But I do think that it could be a lot worse than this. So I'm very happy with the way this turned out. And now that I've retired it, I'm not even bothering augmenting it anymore because I have the Lionheart. Alright, the Lionheart gives me the resolution, which makes it to where basically I don't need the resolution merit that I was talking about at the beginning of the video when I showed you all of my other merits. I don't need the resolution merit for weapon skills because I already have it on this greatsword. So that's why that is. Speaking of merits, these are what I have for the Rune Fencer merits. I'm running Rune Enchantment Effect +4, Valation 1, Lunge 1, Plug 0 for whatever reason, Gambit 4, and then I've got Rake 5, Batuta 2, Inspiration 3, and Sleight of Sword 0. Alright, and that's how I did it. I'm sure you can do this a whole bunch of different ways that are all good, but I like this one. This one's pretty good. I've changed it a few times, and that's what I thought I was most comfortable with. And for gear choices, I'm using a lot of the same stuff that I would use on, like, say, Thief Tank, for example, or what's another good one? Probably just Thief, maybe Corsair. Those kinds of jobs. I'm using kind of the same stuff on my Rune Fencer, and so gearing Rune Fencer is incredibly easy for me. I don't have any JSEs done for this job, but I do hear that they're quite good. But I also know from experience that most of the times JSEs are overestimated. Not all the time, but most of the time you get the JSE and you're like, oh man, everybody has this JSE, it's so good. And then you playtest it and you're like, why didn't I just get a Dark Matter Augmented Herculean piece instead? Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, sometimes it's just not as good as people think it is. Or like the buff that it's exclusive to that item is not even that good for the metagame that you're in. Or something like that. So I kind of am hesitant to get the JSE Futhark stuff for Rune Fencer. But I probably will at one point when I have more inventory. Maybe if I get some more inventory space, I'll start getting some more JSEs. But for the most part, I usually just play with Herculean when I play Rune Fencer. Sometimes I'll be in the Ayanmo or the Meganata set from Ambuscade, but for the most part, I'm usually using Herculean, and it gets me by just fine. I will say that the Ambuscade cape is pretty strong, so you do want to get one. I do like the fact that Inquartada is on this item. It's one of very few items that has that buff. It's very strong for Rune Fencer to have that. Alright, and I guess this is kind of a typical way to actually augment the cape for multi-hit. Fine. I mean, if I wanted to do another one, it would do like a weapon skill or something like that. Weapon skill damage maybe on my next Augma's cape and call it a day. And that would make my resolutions do quite a bit more damage, actually. I'd be quite happy about that as well. Yeah, Rune Fencer has a lot of tricks. But as far as the gear is concerned, it's actually pretty lightweight. It's a pretty reasonable job, and very few inventory slots need to be dedicated to it. So all in all, I feel like this is probably a pretty complete job, pretty well-geared job with no JSEs. No +3 JSEs or anything fancy like that, and I'm still rocking it out. I will say, though, that in addition to the Lionheart, there is another greatsword that you must get on this job. I don't have it, but I will get it sooner or later. It is called A-tier, or E-tier, or however it's pronounced. It is basically the Oboro weapon. It's spelled just like that, E-tier. And it's an Oboro weapon for... wait, is it an Oboro weapon? I could be mistaken. I don't think I am, though. I think it's actually an Oboro weapon. I'm going to look really quick. It is an Oboro weapon. Okay. So yeah, Oboro weapon. Really strong. Very, very good item to get. It's very tanky, and it allows you to really play the Rune Fencer to its highest potential without actually having to get the Ergon weapon done, which is Epilatry. You don't need that. You don't need Epilatry. You can get an E-tier from Oboro, and you'll be good. You'll be absolutely good. If you get a Lionheart, in addition to that, that's an ultimate weapon. You're good. You're completely good at that point. Totally good. So basically, that's all the jobs in this game. It looks like my Link Shell is trying to find help farming some items right now, so I might just end the video here and go help them. I did have fun recording this. I'm a bit tired and worn out from having to talk about it again, because if you recall from my previous video on all the jobs in the game, it was about 3 hours in length, and it's getting a lot of dislikes. I showed it in this video that it is getting a lot of dislikes and a lot of negative feedback, a lot of negative comments are being added to it. So I made this video to kind of hit home some of the points that I was trying to discuss in the previous video. I was trying to actually like get all of the information out there that I could about all the jobs that I could. Obviously, my custom tailored 10-minute long videos on specific jobs are going to be better than my amalgamation of all 22 jobs in one video. So keep that in mind when you go to leave comments on this video, or like or dislike it. Let me know what you think was good in this video, what was not good. Let me know if you feel like I should have spent more time editing this kind of a video so there's less bullshit in it and like more getting to the point on things, because I do think that it would have been easier to watch if I spent more time editing, but a video like this would take a long time to edit, and that would mean less videos that I could release, more YouTube content that I could add. It's less YouTube content that I would be able to add as a result of spending more time editing this video. So that's why I'm kind of reluctantly just going to post it as one big stream and hope for the best. Let me know what you guys think, guys. Thanks so much for visiting my mog garden. Not even mog garden, my mog house. I meant to show you my mog garden, but you've already seen it if you've been on my channel, so you know what it looks like. There's no reason to go there now. We're going to end it here in the mog house on the patio. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace.